Full show. We got the Celtics back in action, and of course tomorrow night's the big one. The Four Nations face-off. Team USA versus Team Canada, and at the Garden in Boston. I mentioned I was at the Garden yesterday early in the morning, and it looked like, the college dorm room after a party. It looked like that in the area yesterday, so I can only imagine what it's going to be like, the atmosphere at the Garden tomorrow night. We got a bunch on the table. Everything. I know this is the slowest week in sports. We'll do Red Sox. I got some Patriots notes, a couple of betting odds as well. Coach of the Year odds have been announced. I'll tell you where Mike Vrabel lands on that list. There's also talk about face of the NBA, and can it be Jason Tatum? And I have some Jaylen Brown notes regarding how he plays in the second half. We'll do that coming up in a little bit. We got Ladies' Night tonight. Kendra Middleton will hang out with us in the 7 o'clock hour, and we'll have Noah Dalzell on the NBA in the 8 o'clock hour. We got In or Out. We got the musings, and we're here until 10 o'clock. The phone number 617-779-0985. The opening take brought to you by ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Again, the opening take brought to you by ESPN Bet Sportsbook. It's so funny where I go now. I was just with a client a few minutes ago. What were we doing? We were talking about the Red Sox. Interest in the Red Sox is back. The Red Sox were the interest kings the last few years. When it came to free agents, when it came to trades, they were always interested, but they would never make the move. The trade of Garrett Crochet moved the needle a little bit here. Never pitched a game in the minor leagues, came right up to the majors. He's had success in the big leagues and throwing 99 at camp this week. It moved the needle, moved the interest needle. Walker Buehler brings a little bit of a championship pedigree to the Red Sox. Interest is back. They finally made a move, signing Alex Bregman. And, man, now the interest in the Red Sox is higher than you've seen. They bring in a Gold Glove winner who's willing to change positions. It proved the team was serious about making the playoffs, and it has brought the buzz back here in Boston. I wanted to throw that out there tonight. My take is the interest is back. They were the interest kings. Now they've become interesting. For good reasons or bad, I don't know. Like Devers wants the team to be better, calls out ownership, but once it affects him, nope. So there's buzz, lots of buzz. Buzz on Devers. Then there's Tristan Casas, who's done nothing in the league but wants to give his opinion on lineups and where guys should play. Also wants the young kids to stay down in the minors. While Vlad Guerrero could be a free agent next year and is, that's probably weighing in the back of his head. Buzz, right? We're talking about Tristan Casas. Cora today on some of those comments by Casas. I'll get to those in a second here, but the buzz is back. I think the buzz is back. Maybe it's not great. Maybe it's not good. Maybe it is good. All I know is we're talking Red Sox. Leadoff takes are the Red Sox. I can't tell you the last time that's happened on the night show. I've been here a year and a half, and when I worked with the predecessor before that, all we did was make fun of the Red Sox because they sucked. Whether it was their infield, their outfield, their base running, the manager decisions, the non-manager was fired, and then the guy's back. There was no interest. It was lack of interest. Now the buzz is back. Like some of these young players have proven to be pretty good. Jaron Durant, All-Star Game MVP, buzz, right? And then he says something to a fan, and then, we're talking about it. I think the buzz is back. Has the needle moved? It has. Now, does this mean they're going to be a playoff team or championship or any of that? No. But we're talking about Red Sox baseball again. That's good. For years, this team was bad. All right, when I grew up, my favorite player was Mo Vaughn. 1995, I won't forget it. MVP beat out Albert Bell. Buzz. The buzz was there. It was real. Troy O'Leary's grand slam was real. Right? The buzz, it was always there. What are the Red Sox going to do? There was always buzz for the Red Sox. Man, 2020, I think, is when it all went away. Or when Mookie Betts was traded, it all went away. There was a buzz for a moment there in 2021. The one-game playoff Yankees-Red Sox out. The last game I went to was when Kyle Schwarber hit that home run, and that was buzz. The buzz was there, faded. It's been gone since. And the fact we're talking about it, I think it's good. Whether it is good or bad. But the Tristan Casa stuff, Alex Cora, at least shared some comments on his roster opinions. People sit here and we don't put limits on them. He said what he said, but at the end of the day, we're in the winning business. From my end, we're going to make decisions based on competition, roster flexibility, and versatility. We're going to take our best 26 guys to Texas when they open the season. I like it. More on Cora. I play with guys who are very thoughtful and what they wanted to say in their opinions. I don't know. I played with Kurt Schilling. He was very thoughtful and said his thing. People will express what they feel. Some people are going to agree. Some people aren't going to agree. Some people aren't going to like it. Others, they aren't going to like it. At the end, we like the first baseman. He's going to play. He's going to hit. Cora's the right guy for this situation. I don't always thought Cora was the best manager. I'll be honest with you on that. I thought he was responsible for some of the losses, but at the same time, look at the cards he was dealt. But Cora is the right guy for these type of problems. And I think he has more pull. Re-signing that contract to an extension, I think he's got more pull than other years. Maybe some of the issues are a typical Red Sox thing. I feel like these are good problems to have. You got young players pushing veterans, veterans pushing other veterans. You got big contract players, right? You got highly rated prospects. You got guys that are playing for big contracts when their contracts are up next year, Crochet, etc. One-year deal guys. There's plenty of meat on the bone. But the interest surrounding the Red Sox, the buzz, it's back. Starting to feel like the old days of the spring training buzz for the local 9. It's back. I like it. Interested what you guys think. 617-779-0985. I know the Cora stuff was a hot button topic yesterday. Assuming the Cassis stuff. I was glad to hear Cora at least mention on Cassis. Hey, some people like things, some people don't. Some of us don't understand some of these athletes. But what you can understand is guys who talk and the message isn't right. All I can say is this. You might not like it. You might not like Tristan Cassis. You might not like the fact that Rafael Devers doesn't want to move off third base. We're talking about it. And the buzz is back for the Red Sox. We'll leave it there at 617-779-0985. Also want to shout out our friends on YouTube tonight that are watching. Feel free to join the chat. I always kind of read what everybody's talking about tonight. I already see some people in there as well. We got Harry Chronic in there. Gabe's in there. Baba Ganoush is in there. Carrie Ann, you name them, they're in there. I'll read you guys stuff coming up in just a little bit. And on the other side here, there's no secret. The Red Sox defense, infield defense has been bad. Got to give you some of the numbers. MLB.com did a report on who could be the most improved defenses in Major League Baseball. I'll let you know where the Red Sox landed on that one. I'm Joe Murray. We're here until 10 o'clock tonight. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. More Joe Murray.
Everybody knows where Alex Bregman is going to play, whether he's to your left, to your right. He brings that same calmness as well, right, across that infield?
He definitely does. I mean, he's a Gold Glover, a guy that's played a lot of different positions. You know, he's a shortstop in LSU. We were joking the other day because I was committed to LSU, and I was like, who do you think would have played short? And so that was a good little banter there. But
what'd you figure out? Who was going to play short?
I mean, we both said ourselves, as you would expect. But, yeah, he brings the stability. And, it's been no secret the past 3 years the infield defense hasn't been good. And, as sort of the captain and the shortstop of the infield, I take a lot of pride in that. And it's something that, we need some health, obviously, but the addition of
that's one. And then, hey, can you believe that was Trevor Story? Has anybody ever heard Trevor Story speak? Does anybody even know what number Trevor Story is? No, for real. Skaz, do you know what number Trevor Story wears?
No.
I think 12.
My guess was there's a 2 in there somewhere, Joe.
There's a 2 in there. Can you look that up, Trent? What number is Trevor Story on the Red Sox? It's again. What do you know about the guy? He played for Colorado, right?
There's no 2, Joe.
There's no 2? What is he?
10.
I see. That's what I mean. Well,
not out there enough, Joe.
I want there to be buzz, just so that this whole point is buzz, 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 buzz. But the Red Sox are selling us. I shouldn't say selling us. The Red Sox have an albatross at shortstop named Trevor Story. That, when healthy, the guy's got a good glove. Can he hit? I don't know. Does he have power? Yes. Do people rave about him? Yep. Have we seen it? No. The guy has come back every year, and he even said it himself. He goes, man, every year I tell you it's going to happen, but it hasn't. And now the Red Sox this year have slotted Trevor Story in. He's been healthy all offseason. The guy's never been healthy in an offseason with the Red Sox. So, again, that's what I see in our chat right here. Trevor who? Joe, you ready to be going tomorrow? No, I'll be working right here. Skaz and I, we'll be right here. We're with you every night at this time. We don't do events. We work. Anyways, Trevor who? Yes, his name is Trevor Story. He's going to play shortstop this year. He's been projected to be the shortstop for a few years now here in Boston. And he talked about loving the chemistry between him and Bregman. Talked about how Bregman was a shortstop at LSU, and they were joking about which guy would have played short. Doesn't that remind you of Ian Kinsler and Dustin Pedroia? A little bit there. Listen, Bregman, Story, not on the same page, so I won't do that. Kinsler did win a championship, though, with the Red Sox, right? I'm pretty sure. Anyways. But that's the buzz that they're trying to feed us. And let me just give you a couple of numbers here. And I see you guys lined up on the phones, 617-779-0985. You may not think about defense as being quite as important as, pitching or a home run or any of that stuff. But there is value, especially in the league for the Red Sox. But last year, 5 of the top 8 fielding teams made the playoffs. And all of the 8 weakest fielding teams missed the playoffs. Duh! Now you play good defense, you make the playoffs. You don't play good defense, you don't make the playoffs. The Red Sox were ranked 25th in defense last year. It was not good. They got bailed out by a good outfield. But the eye test, they were bad. It's centered around their infield. They were the second weakest infield in the Major League Baseball last year, and the catching position was dead last. It wasn't just the infield spot, though. It was everywhere. All 4 spots were troublesome. And there was a metric that Fangraphs came up with that I wanted to share with people. They projected improvements from teams that finished in the bottom 8 this year and who would be the team with the most improvement. So the infield looks better this year as of now, right? Because last year, Ceddanne Raffaello was playing shortstop. He was ranked a -5 at the position, whatever that means. I'll give you the numbers in a minute here. But there were a +6 defensively a year ago. Trevor Story, if he remains healthy, his glove is very strong. And he's a big part of the improvement for the Red Sox in the 2025 projections. So, MLB.com came up with team defense projections and analysis for 2025, and the Red Sox will have the biggest improvement defensively this year based off Fangraphs reporting. They're projected to save 22 runs this year compared to last year. It's the biggest improvement in the league. Now, ground ball percentage last year, the league average is 42.5%. This is where the starting pitchers land. Crochet's at 45%. Houck, 55%. Bayo, 51%. Buehler, 46%. Even Quinn Priester last year was right around 57%. Giolito is the lowest ground ball pitcher on the staff, 36%. The Red Sox can't afford to have bad defense this year. They also probably can't afford to have Devers at third every game. The pitching staff has 5 out of 6 pitchers who are ground ball heavy that really rely on infield defense to make a major impact on run prevention. And I've given you the numbers. Since 2017, Rafael Devers has the most errors in baseball. It's 16 more than any other player. Rafael Devers has led the American League in errors at third base 7 straight seasons. And according to Fangraphs, the Red Sox outfield was the best in 2024. Well, second best, only behind the Yankees. But what did they do in the playoffs? You see that, remember? And Judge had the old error there. So I'll bring you in, Skaz. These Fangraph projections have Trevor Story playing a lot, have them improve big time. Do you think the defense will be an issue with these ground ball pitchers that they have, that they brought in from a year ago?
If Bregman's at third base, I don't think they're an issue, and that's why I believe that Bregman will be at third base. I think this is, I don't want to call it a non-story because it's absolutely a story because of how Devers is handling it and how, Tristan Cassis is handling it. But I think at the end of the day, if Bregman will be at third base and, Devers will be the DH, and I hope Christian Campbell's on the roster. I think that is the best Red Sox team for this season. If they want to win, if they want to compete, to me, that's their best roster is Bregman at third, Campbell at second, and Rafi at DH. If that switches from time to time, because of the pitching matchup, fine. But I think Bregman should be your starting third baseman.
Those. Do you think 22 runs? If they had that a year ago, I think they're a playoff team.
They're certainly a lot closer. There's no debate about that.
Was ownership wrong when Tom Warner said, "Hey, if our defense was better, we'd be a playoff team"? Or do you think they were using that as a reason not to spend money?
They're always looking for an excuse, Joe. I'm not giving them any slack there.
Look, okay, no slack. But are they wrong?
Yeah, they're probably wrong. I'm not giving them the benefit of the doubt, Joe. They're probably wrong. If they spent more money,
no benefit of the doubt.
If they spent more money, they'd be a playoff team.
See, I like that. That's buzz. That's the Red Sox feel, Skaz. I got the feels. This is what we do in this town. No one's ever happy. No one's ever happy enough with the Red Sox. The Red Sox need to do more. They need to give more. I love that. Skaz he's feeling the fellowship of the miserable vibes. We're back. It's back, baby. Your thoughts, 617-779-0985. I'm telling you, it's back. Nate's in the car. Hey, Nate.
Hey, what's going on, Joe? Yes, you're talking about Trevor Story. I have a Trevor Story shirt. I love the guy. I think he's going to be awesome. I watch a lot of the Roos Talks, too, because I'm like 20 minutes north of there, so I go to a lot of those games. And, Tristan Cassis' progression, Rafael, I've been watching him, Duran when he first started in 21. I'm really pumped about this team. I think the biggest thing that they needed was pitching, because any of the years that they've won, 04, 07, 13 even, they've had pitching, right? So not having pitching for those years that we were just trying to make it isn't going to work. So I'm glad that ownership finally spent the money on pitching, because I think that was... And then House Point, I think he should be like our... We should be DH. We already have storage short. Right now would be awesome.
Nate, I like you, buddy. I couldn't hear you. It sounded like you Sounded like you were trying to go through you said he was a Worcester guy, the Kelly Square Rotary there. You ever get over there and then the road just becomes weird over there. That little rotary, and then now they're doing the road work. It's like you were driving on the pike and then you got off and I lost you. I don't know what happened. Sounded like you're going under a tunnel. We got Reese in Boston. Hey, Reese.
How you guys doing?
How you doing?
I'm good. I just want to say, last year we finished mid. We were, 500?
Mid.
We won as many as we lost.
Yep.
This year is our year. We're going back-to-back with the Celtics. We're bringing home the trophy in the World Series.
Yep.
I think we put Bregman at third, and we tell Raph, he was promised he's not moving from third, but he is a DH hitter. He is not a third baseman.
Okay.
He is terrible defense. This year, what'd you say, 22 runs?
The FanGraph projection says that the Red Sox should improve by 22 runs defensively.
I think we can improve by 30. I think this is our year. Everybody's shaky about it.
Do you want to make a nice little friendly...
I'm trying to rally everybody.
Well, want to make a nice little friendly caller versus host bet? Where are you from?
Yeah.
Where do you live?
I'm from Fenway.
You're from
right here.
You're from the Fenway area?
Yeah, I live right here, man.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a nice little, maybe a little tasty burger deal. They get
a little tasty burger.
If they go over 29 and a half, I'll buy you a burger. If they go under 29 and a half, you buy me a burger.
You know what? I love that bet.
All right.
I love that.
I won't forget
believe
you,
in us. This is our year. I'm rallying everybody.
Reese from Fenway. Celtics are going to win a championship, and the Red Sox are going all the way.
Yes, sir.
All right, buddy. Thank you. The buzz is back. The believers are back. Do you hear it, everyone? Kind of want to hope I win that bet. I want that burger. Oh, I love me a tasty burger. That is one tasty burger. All right, well, the Red Sox buzz is back. Your thoughts, 617-779-0985. Flip side here. I have more on the McAvoy stuff. Last night we got what we had. Tonight we got more today. And this seems to be a little bit more of an issue than we thought. We'll lay it all out for you on the other side. I'm Joe Murray. Let's get to the headlines here. We're here until 10 o'clock tonight here on the Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius and...
So selfishly, just from the club's perspective, do you wish Charlie wouldn't have played against Canada after?
I can't answer that. I mean, this is the tournament that the league has put forth, and I said this the other day. It's a great tournament. It brings publicity to the game. It helps our game across the map. So it's hard for me to answer that. Of course, you never want to see anyone get injured, especially one of your own, right? And other teams are dealing with some injuries too from that tournament as well. So we're just, like I said, we just want Charlie to recover quickly as he can, and we just hope for the best. That's all.
All right, back here, 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. Who is that, you ask? Joe Sacco, Bruins head coach. So I'll dumb it down for everybody what happened with McAvoy. In the first Four Nations game, he hurt his shoulder. And everything seemed to be fine. Played in the Canadian game. Had a big impact in the game. 5 big hits. They won. Then he started to feel some discomfort in his shoulder. Went to the hospital to get it looked at. Reported was an infection. Don't know which kind. They've cleaned it out. Gave him antibiotics. And he's still in the hospital. And he won't be ready to go for tomorrow night's game and will not be ready to go for the Bruins when they kick back up on Saturday night. So, if you're a Bruins fan, they're going to be without Charlie McAvoy for a bit. Also, when the players play for their country, Team USA, the doctors were involved in that. Were the Bruins ever notified? Did McAvoy ever talk to any of his, physicians with the Bruins? It's a tough situation. It's a bad situation, and I don't think it's going to end well. But this is the chance a lot of these players take, right? When they play for their country. This is some of the issues that happen. And the McAvoy stuff in general right now, what does it mean for the Boston Bruins? Right? I know we're all thinking about tomorrow night's game in Boston. It's going to be great. USA, Canada in Boston. Should be off the hook. The betting line is essentially a pick 'em right down the middle. Team USA is going to be without McAvoy, and I think it's going to be harder for them. But let's get back to how this affects the Bruins. We mentioned this last night. We mentioned the schedule for them. It's not favorable. They're a fringe playoff team. We know that they have issues all over the blue line. They give up goals. They average over 3 goals a game. They've given up 6 goals or more multiple times this year. They've given up 3 goals or more more than half the games. 25% of the time this year, the Bruins have given up 3 goals or more in a game. So I always thought it was their goaltending because they moved on from Allmark, and that was their identity is throwing a goaltender out there every night. Well, now you're without McAvoy, who at times I've called average because I think he has been. But I do think he's overcompensating. He's doing too much because of the roster. You saw what he looked like in that game for Canada, for Team USA against Canada. He was one of the best players on the ice. You don't see that when he's on the Bruins. I blame the Bruins for that. I do. But now, who's at fault here? Because that's what we're going to do, right? We're going to play the blame game. McAvoy plays for Team USA, plays for his country. Something that's been pretty big. The Four Nations face-off has been planned. It's been talked about for a while. They've had GMs. They had taxi squad guys, you name it. This thing's been in the works for a long time, and it's been a hit. But who takes the biggest hit? The Bruins. I don't know how this affects McAvoy's future. I don't know if it's the shoulder he's had surgery on, or if it's the other one, or what type of infection it was. I don't want to speculate, but it happened in the game against Finland, and he still played with the injury against Canada. It's just the timetable there doesn't add up for me. And I feel like there's going to be an issue here between Team USA and the Bruins. The GM of the Canadian team is Don Sweeney. How does Don Sweeney feel about this? How does it affect his contract? How does it this and that? Last night, somebody called in and said, hey, maybe one of the blessings in disguise here is they can put him on long-term injured reserve and free up that $9 million. So now, is that what the team wants now? Is to free up that money and go and try to make improvements to the team? This is a tough situation here. I'm trying to think of a time where someone got hurt in an exhibition game. I know that years ago, well, I'm going way, way back, but didn't Ted Williams get hurt in an exhibition game before a World Series? Didn't Brad Marchand get hurt in that exhibition game before the long layoff there with the Blues? Exhibition game injuries are, we all remember Robert Edwards, right? In the beach, was it a beach volleyball game? Here he is, this rookie of the year, rushed for 1,000 yards and gets hurt in an exhibition game. It literally ruined his career. Literally. Came back from it, but had so much reconstructive surgery, it was ruined his career. I'm not going that far with it, but this is a shoulder injury that turned into an infection. I need more. Was it the shoulder he had surgery on? Was it the other one? And then what was the type of infection here? There's a lot going on here. You got something for me, Skaz?
I believe it was not the shoulder he had surgery on.
So it was the okay.
I believe that's what's been reported.
He's got a shoulder issue on one side that he's gotten surgically repaired, and the other shoulder had the infection. How does that make you feel? Skaz, what do you think happens here, man? I to be honest with you, I haven't really read about it. I'm just giving you a take off top of my head, spitballing this conversation. This can't be good, right? Between the Bruins and Team USA. It can't be.
Yeah, the wording of the Bruins statement was what really raised some eyebrows, I think, especially, in Boston. But Elliot Friedman was on 590 The Fan Sportsnet earlier and said the Bruins were extremely unhappy with the way this was handled and felt McAvoy did not receive proper care from the Team USA medical staff.
So, just real quick, what is let's make up a protocol here. You get injured playing for Team USA. What does McAvoy do? Does he tell the Team USA physician, hey, I'm dealing with a little bit of a shoulder thing over here, but I'll be good to go to play? What do they give him a shot? Does he text the team physician of the Bruins? Hey, I just want to let you know I banged up my shoulder a little bit, but I'm good to go. What's the protocol there? I don't know.
I think that's what the Bruins are kind of trying to find out almost, what happened? How was this missed? How did you let this happen?
Where does the player take blame in this, though? And listen, it's unfortunate what's happened to McAvoy. I want everyone to know that he went and played. He got an infection. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't put any blame on McAvoy in this situation. I think it's really hard to blame the athletes, especially in a tournament like this where you know what it means to them. You see what it means to them. They've all talked about what it means for them to play for, Canada, U.S., Finland, Sweden, whoever it is. It's an honor for these guys. So it's on the medical staff to make sure they're right, especially when it is, an NHL tournament. This is the NHL's baby. This is, one of the main, selling points was these are NHL players competing against each other in an international format. And so if you're the NHL, how do you tell your teams, we have, your best interest in mind. These doctors are all over it. I think that raises a lot of questions for not just the Bruins, but these other NHL teams that have guys that we had a caller the other night who said, McAvoy's playing like this for Team USA. Who's paying his salary? The Boston Bruins are paying his salary. So if they have some issues with the way, Team USA handled his medicals, then they have every right to have that issue because it seems like they were mishandled.
I need more on this. This is a situation you hope would never happen. To give you another one that happened, remember Paul George was playing for Team USA and literally broke his leg, like out for the year, really bad surgery. Still going, good for him. But that happened with Team USA. I don't know what the circumstances are for McAvoy. He's clearly going to miss time at the start of the when they return here, but this is a tough situation here. We'll get your thoughts on it at 617-779-0985. Let's go to the phones. Let's talk to, let's start it off with Danny is in Millbury. Hey, Danny.
Hey, Joe. I'm a doctor of physical therapy, and obviously this McAvoy situation is far from ideal. You're looking at probably a best-case scenario, like 6 to 8 weeks for like a grade 2, grade 3 AC sprain with an infection. I mean, that's probably surgery and out for the year. And it really depends on, again, the type of infection, like you mentioned earlier. Is this an infection from an open wound? Is it an infection kind of going on eternally, systemically? And that stuff, it obviously when in the best healthcare, so it's got taken care of pretty quickly, but it's not a good sign at all. And you're probably looking at, I wouldn't be shocked at all. If anything, I'm probably leaning toward probably out for the season based on the information that I've heard from you guys tonight.
All right, Danny, appreciate it. So, yes, listen, I'm not going to speculate, there's all sorts of things that can happen. Sepsis, MRSA. I'm not going anywhere on all that stuff. I'm just saying that these are the things that can happen. They've cleaned it out. He's still in there. I thought that this is somewhat of an interesting take. The head coach of Team USA is the father-in-law, or is Charlie McAvoy's father-in-law, Mike Sullivan. What was his role in this? Kirk's on the Cape. Hey, Kirk.
Hey, Joe, you kind of just stole my thunder there. That's exactly right. I mean, you're talking family here, and you don't even look out for your son-in-law who is playing hockey and making money for his daughter. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, my only thing is, Kirk, it's a good point. My only thing is I don't know if he did anything wrong. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know, hey, these athletes want to play out there, right? Hey, my shoulders bother me. Hey, like, you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, to put blame on either McAvoy or Mike Sullivan, it's really hard to throw that out there.
Yeah, not without knowing every single instance of what went on, but it sounds like the Bruins are quite upset with the Minnesota Wild doctor, who was the first one that treated him as well. I read that earlier.
Yeah, Kirk, appreciate the call. The father-in-law thing now, here we go.
Yeah.
Where was he looking out for his daughter and the Bruins?
Yeah, that's not Mike Sullivan's call to make. If the medical staff tells Mike Sullivan his player is good to go, that's the last thing on his mind. He has to have trust in his medical staff. You can't have the head coach questioning his own medical staff. Then you have, even more issues.
Well, he's got other things to worry about.
Yeah, I would put zero.
He's got this practice taxi squad guys. Hey, is this guy going to come or not? Is this guy playing or what? Like, is this play? I don't even know who's going to be available tomorrow night.
I would put 0% blame on Mike Sullivan.
Yeah. This is
if anyone on that team would be looking out for Charlie McAvoy's best interest, it would be Mike Sullivan.
So listen, this is a fascinating story, and unfortunately, it involves the Boston Bruins and their top defenseman. Glad to hear he's doing better. Glad to hear he's gotten treatment. Sounds like he's not going to be ready to go. What happened? And what are the protocols? I brought this up, Skaz. I know you were busy, but Paul George got hurt, right? Playing for Team USA. Literally snapped his leg. You saw
one of the worst, yeah. That and Kevin Ware.
Like, what happens with the Pacers now when he was with the Pacers then? Like, what happened? What was Now, granted, we all saw it happen, so you kind of knew he was done. So, like, what are the team physicians like? Hey, Pacers, how you doing, guys? Hey, just want to let you know, Paul George snapped his leg, so he's everything's fine. We're gonna do the surgery, but just want to let you guys know. Thanks. Click. What was the protocol? He got hurt in game 1. What did they look at his shoulder? Did they do anything? Was there a shot? Did they talk to the Bruins? Did they talk to his father-in-law? What was the protocol? What is it? So then he plays in the game. He looked like one of the top 3 players on the ice. 5 players on the ice, whatever. And then he has to go to the hospital in Boston. Where were the Bruins informed in this? And not trying to put blame on McAvoy because he wants to be out there. These guys fight through injuries. Yes, the guy yesterday that says, who's paying his salary? Well, I am kind of curious if he had a shoulder thing. Was there ever any communication to the Boston Bruins? And if they gave him a cortisone shot, do the Bruins need to know that? Like, there's a lot of like medical protocols here. I'm not qualified for this one.
Dr. Joe?
No, Dr. Joe ain't qualified, bro. But the Bruins have something here. Like,
they're upset, and it seems like they have a reason to be upset.
We need more. Frank Cervalli, I feel like, is the only guy nowadays we can get anything out of. You know? I need more on this. If you guys see anything throughout the night, can you let me know? Because I'd like to pick this one up a little bit. This is an absolutely fascinating story. When it comes to medicals and teams, like the Bruins, right? They're going to lose their defenseman, but he's also $9 million. Like, but long-term injury reserve. Yeah, free up that money, Bruins. Skaz, that makes it worse, by the way. Like, for the people that are like, hey, frees up $9 million. No, that gives them $9 million to make the team worse or screw it up. Like, if your direction was to think about the future, now they have $9 million to improve the team. I guess that's what you want, right? I guess that's what some people want. Like, that's the positive side of this, is that they can spend that $9 million now? Oh, man. There's a lot of gray area here with this injury. We'll get into more. I know Kendra Middleton's hanging out. She did the off-air show with Felger today. Our condolences to the Felger family as well. But we'll talk with Kendra. She's here. More on McAvoy as well. I got some Patriot stuff for you coming up in a bit. Skaz is here. We got Trent, our intern. I'm Joe Murray, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
Common.
It's electric.
You need an electrician? Call Common Electric. We're electricians, and it's all we do. Electricity is serious business. Be sure your circuits are safe and up to snuff, and hire the specialists at Common Electric. KUHLMAN. Call Common.
It's electric.
Kick off the new year with $2,025 off any in-stock, used, or new 2025 Nissans at Matthews Nissan. That's an additional discount off MSRP.
Bulls have promoted Kevin Patullo as their offensive coordinator, and the Celtics back in action tomorrow night. They'll be in Philadelphia. Headlines, they are brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss with a 98% customer satisfaction rating and thousands of 5-star reviews. The choice is clear. Awaken180weightloss.com. I'm Joe Murray. Your next update is in 30 minutes.
Listen to it. Laugh at it. Get mad at it. Agree with it. Argue about it. It is Boston Sports. Boston Sports. And it is all we do. 98.5. The Sports Hub.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Like Miss Cleo?
It was LaToya Jackson's psychic line. That was Felger's dad.
Are you serious?
Yes. If you did not listen to the off-air show tonight, I 1,000% recommend going back and listening to it, because not only is it a very interesting deep dive into the, how Mike Felger got to be Mike Felger, but it is actually a trip. His dad sounds like the coolest person alive.
Well, I'm going to listen to that. I'll do it after the show tonight on YouTube. 10 o'clock, we're here until then, and then I'll listen on my way home tonight. It was funny. We were bumping ladies' night, and Kendra just asked me a question. Are you a UNC or a Duke person?
Prior to the Bill Belichick crap.
Skaz, what do you what do you think?
Prior.
There's only one correct answer to that.
It's UNC.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Tar Heel blue hits.
Maybe the best color there is.
Agree. It's a great take by Skaz.
It's
the right take.
a great take. Kendra may be going to the game tomorrow night. You ever heard of this game? It's called the Four Nations Final.
Is that pickleball?
No, it's Four Nations hockey. Oh, by the way, Kendra, you're back. I haven't seen you. You went on a vacation.
I did.
How was it?
It was good. I'm assuming you're about to ask me about my grilled butt cheek.
Actually, Liv Schatz told us about this. We had him in. I just said, oh, boy, that's going to make the internet, is what I said.
Yeah.
So what, you burned your butt cheek on a tanning bed?
A sauna grate.
A sauna grate.
Yeah. I have it on video.
Okay.
I will show you the video.
I'm good.
I just have the sound of the sizzle.
Oh, the sizzle.
Yeah.
Like bacon?
Worse. It is. I showed it to the morning show last week, and everyone, even Hardy, was like, woof. Because it is truly... I burned my ham real bad.
Well, we know Hardy, and he loves you.
Hardy is my biggest fan, other than my mother.
This is not a shot at Hardy. I like to call the show Fred and Friends, because I told him that's what he should have called the show, because then it could have been Fred and all his friends, which would have been fun. But I respect Hardy because he's excellent at his job. Wallach, and those are all mentors of mine. Anyways, enough of the fun stuff. So you had fun. Everything worked out.
The food was terrible in Costa Rica. I said this on the morning show. If you're going to Costa Rica for anything outside of the jungle and the animals, don't.
What do you eat there? Like, what is there?
Obviously, it's all like Hispanic influenced for obvious reasons, but the local cuisine, no matter if you eat cheap, expensive, whatever, the best thing I ate all week was Costa Rican McDonald's.
Ooh, what are they? They have the Shamrock Shake there, or what?
No. So I think that you know this about me, but other people might not. I don't eat fast food unless I'm not in the country, but I will try foreign McDonald's because their menus are usually so insane. Costa Rican McDonald's has a barbecue, like a bacon cheese fry situation. Their like apple pie things are cheesecake pies and pineapple pies. Their McFlurries are coffee flavored. I ordered a chicken sandwich, but as McDonald's does, they messed up my order. So I wound up with a cheeseburger with caramelized onions. If that burger was on the McDonald's menu in the U.S., it would clear every single fast food burger available.
Maybe we could call it the McMiddleton.
Hell yeah, brother.
What kind? Was it a quarter pounder beef or was it a regular burger
I took a
beef?
video of it just because I didn't order it. I don't know what it was. I ordered a chicken sandwich and that's what they gave me. But it was a burger with onions and melted queso, and it was phenomenal. I was upset that I didn't get my chicken for 30 seconds, and then I had that, and I said, you know what? You could say horrible things to me and then offer me this burger in return, and I would say thank you another, sir.
Well, people are calling it street meat, so of course.
I did eat so much street meat.
Love street meat. Real quick, because I know we're just having fun. But last night, someone called in and said that they went to the drive-thru to get a Happy Meal, and they did not have sweet and sour sauce. And so I called it a sad meal. That would be a sad meal. But dry nuggets was the hashtag dry nuggets. What's your favorite sauce when it comes to nuggets?
At McDonald's in particular?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is crazy. Honey.
The hot honey?
No,
the honey mustard?
regular honey.
Just honey
Honey.
itself?
The
I've never
salty,
had that.
sweet, when you put honey on...
Is this
honey,
like local they have this?
They have honey packets at every McDonald's. But if you have never put honey on a McDonald's chicken nugget, you have not lived.
I didn't know I could do that.
You have not lived.
All right, well, then he's got, maybe we're going to have maybe one night Kendra said she's going to make some things and maybe we can do some taste testing.
Mukbang.
But anyways, last night we were doing socks talk and it turned into sauce talk. And the reason why I asked this question is, the term raw dog got brought up, but I don't need the chicken. I just need the sauce. So
I'm a big sauce person.
I've ate sauce just on my own.
Yeah, oh my God.
You've done it.
Yeah, okay. So when I was a kid and we would go to Cracker Barrel, I would just sit there and eat the jelly packets, and I'd get so full off the jelly that I wouldn't eat my dinner. And that was, I swear, my mom and I's biggest fight in my lifetime was that I would just eat jelly packets off the table.
Okay, so if you ever saw The Sopranos, they were in the cold weather by themselves, no phone, they needed help. They were in a van, and Chris started eating ketchup packets. And Paulie was upset because he wasn't sharing the ketchup packet. Where I'm going with this is I don't necessarily need the meat. I just need the sauce.
Yeah, I'm a big sauce person.
All right, well, I'm glad.
I don't want to eat dry anything.
Dry nuggets. And it was
dry meat,
it was a sad
no.
meal.
Not in any way, shape, or form ever. I'm out on dry meat.
Out. I have questions for you. So I want to take this call, and it will lead us into some discussion here. And again, Kendra's here, 617-779-0985. You can join us on YouTube right now. We got a bunch of people in there. Love the honey and nugs. Oh, my God. So
it is. I'm not even kidding. If you've never done that, I put honey. Honey is my choice on any chicken nugget of any sort. That is my number one sauce. But specifically, there is something about a McNugget that really does it for your girl.
And then JP says, forget about the Baconator. What about the Kendranator?
Have you seen the Angel Reese McDonald's collab?
Yes.
I would do one of those.
I would too. The McMurray was something I invented years ago, but
What would it be?
Well, it's got a song and everything. Hardy actually made the song, believe it or not.
Okay.
But it's 2 quarter-pound beefs, and instead of bread, it is 2 chicken patties with bacon.
Oh, yeah.
No lettuce.
Yeah, they used to do that in high school. You would go and you would build a sandwich like that and bring it back for lunch.
All right, well, we started Red Sox. We got into this McAvoy thing. Nate is in Marshfield. He's got a thought. What's up, Nate?
Nate.
Joe, I love the show.
Thanks,
I just got a little bit of a conspiracy theory here, maybe. Wanted to get your thoughts on it. So, McAvoy got hurt in the Finland game, played in the Canada game. I'm assuming they shot him up to play in the Canada game. Could the Bruins be mad that the USA medical staff shot him up and he got the infection from obviously shooting him up from the play in the Canada game?
So you think that he got an infection from the cortisone shot?
Yes.
Now we're playing.
Or whatever they shot him up from.
Okay, do you think that the Bruins were told about this?
Maybe they could have been told after the fact.
All right,
What are they
Nate.
sharing needles? Like what?
Fascinated by this, Kendra. No, okay, here's the deal. There's no blame from me. I have my thoughts about McAvoy. I think at times he's been average. I did think he was absolutely excellent in the Team Canada game. I thought he was awesome.
Let me ask you a question, because by now we're not telling anybody anything new about this situation. Do you think that Charlie McAvoy has any amount of blame in this scenario for knowing that he was hurt and potentially going out there and playing in a knowingly maybe meaningless game?
So Skaz and I talked about this in the last hour. I'm a no. I'm a no, but I don't know the protocols. We were bringing up other things that happened in the past, like, there's been no. Like, I'm thinking back on it. like the Olympics, when Paul George got hurt, he snapped his leg, like he was done. When some guys get hurt, it's almost like, do they tell anybody? So in this case, and again, McAvoy had surgery on one shoulder, the infection's on the other.
Yeah.
So that's an issue. But when he had the issue, does he talk to the Bruins doctors, or does he talk to Team USA? Does Team USA talk to the Bruins? Or was he like, it's all right, I'll feel good. Maybe he could just, like, I don't know if it was I don't even know if he got a cortisone shot. Did they tape him up? I don't want to speculate anything here, but there has to be some sort of dialogue where the Bruins weren't informed of something.
Well, so here's my big thing. I don't know what's worse. You playing through an injury knowing that it's probably going to get worse or is getting worse, or you not informing people. But I think that here's the issue is that we don't, and I know that people are going to say that this sounds woke. I don't think we empower players enough in certain situations to be honest about their injuries, because you listen, for example, and I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. We are all absolutely guilty of this. We all undermine players' injuries and say, rub some dirt on it, suck it up, you're making all this money, your team needs you, whatever, and pretty much kind of tell players to suck it up and go out there and play. And I'm sure to a certain degree, coaches do the same thing. On top of that, the pressure you put on yourself, the pressure that you feel like your teammates put on you, the fans, whatever, you feel like you need to be present. But at what point do we get there to, I think about, and do I think that Joel Embiid is taking this way too far? Absolutely. There are certainly players that take
missed 400 games
this crap way too far. But at what point do we find a line between letting Joel Embiid do what Joel Embiid does and advocating for players to be open and honest about their injuries so that they don't progress?
So the NBA and NHL, I know, are really hard to compare, but I get what you mean here. This is Team USA. You're about to play Canada. There's a rivalry like you can't believe. The competition's real. The NHL is prepared for it. He's one of the assistant captains for Team USA, going up against, Brad Marchand and Crosby and McDavid. I mean,
got a rest of your season to play.
He's got it all. But at the same time, when does someone say, hey, I kind of aggravated my shoulder. I really care about my, the rest of the season. To answer your question, I immediately don't put blame on McAvoy, but the more we sit here and talk about it, I don't even know what else is coming out. The speculation is the speculation is now making me question things.
But the speculation is because of what's coming out.
Yeah.
And all of this, and everybody's got their own opinion. There's 9,000 ways that this has been spread, but between what seems to be one side of this is rather pissed off, people are making a big deal out about his wife and the connection of Sullivan and all that crap.
That one is interesting.
Something stinks here, and I'm trying to figure out who took the crap is what's going on.
It's interesting. I just want to know what the protocols are. If somebody's injured playing Team USA, whatever, how does the physician's contact? Was his agent involved? Right? Is his agent supposed to communicate anything? Does one of the team doctors call the Bruins team doctor? It's really fascinating.
There's got to be transparency through all of that. Moving forward, I think that this is an absolute learning thing for the NHL. I don't know what happened with the Team USA situation, but I think that this has got to be the aha moment of there has got to be more transparency for this. This is not the Olympics. Am I upset that Charlie McAvoy got hurt if I'm a Bruins fan? Which the Bruins are my team in town. I love the Bruins. If I had to pick a team here to absolutely devout follow, it's going to be the Bruins.
But, anybody could have got hurt. Marchand could have got hurt.
Correct.
Lindholm could have got hurt playing for his country.
I'm not upset about it. And if the Bruins were a better team this season, my feelings would be hurt more. But am I upset about the fact that you went out there and you put your whole dang body out there and in my opinion too, had he stayed healthy, this tournament for him could have been a changing point in his season. You call him like what? McAverage. That's the thing, is that this could have been the turning point for him to have an uptick on the rest of the season. And had he not gotten hurt, that would be the conversation that we're having right now.
Yep. And instead, he's in the hospital and right now out indefinitely. And it sounds like the Bruins are very, very upset. We'll have more on this. 617-779-0985. I feel like I should answer this. David's in Boston. Hey, David.
David!
What is going on, party people? How are you?
What's good, brother?
So, all right, right when you were talking about honey on McNuggets, I also just happened to be waiting in the queue in the drive-thru for McDonald's. So,
Are we getting a live taste test?
We're doing it live. We're doing it live.
Yeah, David!
All right, let me park. Give me 2 seconds. I literally actually just paid and got it. So let me park right here.
What town are we in?
So I'm originally from Boston. Right now I'm in Milford.
You're in Milford. Okay, I know exactly the one you're
Milford McNugget.
Yeah, there's two in Milford. There's one right off the highway, and then there's one a little closer to town. But
what does the honey come in? Is it like the typical sweet and sour type?
Yeah, it's the peel back.
Okay.
It looks just like their other. It looks just like their other sauce packets.
Did you know they had honey before this conversation?
No clue. I did not know that. That was also news to me too.
All right,
This must be a life-changing
Are we
moment.
going full dip nugget or just like a halfway kind of thing?
1,000,000% we're going full dip.
Full
so here's where I was a little skeptical because I thought if it was coming out of like a squeeze tube, I was like, this is going to get weird. It's not going to be enough. But no, it's not as big as like a ranch, but it's enough to work. Hold on.
Okay, let's try it.
I need to hear the crunch. This is like ASMR.
Little ASMR for you.
We're two halves of a whole idiot right now, brother.
All right, how do I do this while also holding the phone close to my mouth?
Just dunk it and eat it.
I feel like I need Celine Dion. My heart will go on right now in the background.
For context, this is a lot of honey. This thing is fully coated.
You got it. Yes, thank you.
That's really good.
So honey and nuggets.
So good.
Can we call them honey nuggets?
You can call them whatever you want to call them. Slaps.
Now I'm jealous.
I know what you're doing on the way home.
I want my honey nuggets. We gotta
get a kids meal on the way home.
Gotta
get my nuggies.
We'll take a quick break. I see you guys lined up on the phone lines. Kendra Middleton is here. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub. outside of me. You're right. Outside of me.
We've had live other things on the air, Joe.
Yes.
Believe I was out that night, but I certainly heard about it.
Yes, we have a caller named Stretch from Mattapan. And he called in and goes, "Hey, Joe, I just want to shout you guys out. I'm going to light this one up for you." And he did, smoked a blunt on the air.
As one should.
And it was cool. So I really appreciated that. A lot of love on social right now.
Everybody go to McDonald's.
Golden nuggets are what people want. Jeff says he's about to jump on a 2-hour Teams meeting, and all he wants is a 10-piece nugget. Highlight of the night was listening to a guy call into the show doing McDonald's nugget review. So people are excited. I just wanted to read this quickly. Charlie McAvoy, this is the statement from the Bruins, their head team physician. Peter Asness is his name. McAvoy sustained an injury to his right shoulder, the AC joint, against Finland on February 13th. He underwent treatment, which was administered by the Team USA medical staff. I'm just going to leave it right there for a second. Did they know he underwent treatment from Team USA staff? What's the protocol for treatment? Upon returning to Boston, he developed increasing pain, for which he was evaluated by the Boston Bruins medical staff. After undergoing x-rays, MRIs, and blood work, he was diagnosed as having an infection in his right shoulder, as well as a significant injury to his AC joint. I'll just pause it right there. So, did Team USA not give him x-rays, MRIs, or do blood work? What's the protocol for Team USA to do that?
If you had to guess, do you think it was A, incompetence, B, the injury being undercommunicated, or C, guilt from the potential of Charlie McAvoy having a season-ending injury?
I think it's D.
Okay.
McAvoy said he was fine. Got the treatment. Everyone looked at it and said, it looks fine.
So that would be B, him not communicating the injury well.
Okay, there you go, B. And then he played in the game, put on 2 big hits, and might have re-aggravated the injury.
Which, that's the other thing, and I get not wanting to put any blame on anybody, especially because, hockey players are such a different breed. I talked about it on Friday on the morning show, and I talked about it on Dan on Saturday. There is no way in hell that anybody in any other league would go out there and participate during their time off the way that these guys have, and as hard as they have. But if you're Charlie, and I get that you cannot change the mentality of a hockey player, but, can you cool your jets maybe just a little bit in a meaningless game when you got the rest of the season and an angry, angry, angry fan base in Boston?
He underwent an irrigation and debridement procedure. You know anything?
Felger and Maz were talking about this today.
I didn't, but there's...
They're cleaning him out.
They cleaned him out.
Make sure everything in there is clean.
He remains in the hospital. So the injury happened on the 13th. Pain happened before the 18th. Now he's in the hospital and trying to recover from the injury.
Maybe he can reach out to Trevor Lawrence and ask him how holding a newborn with one hand is going because of a bad shoulder.
Oh, is that what happened with Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, he had surgery on his shoulder, and there's all these pictures on the internet of him holding his newborn with one arm. So it'd be very, very. You should ask him what's the vibe.
Well, the vibe is. What did Team USA's medical staff do between the 13th and the 17th?
Doesn't sound like a whole lot if your homie got an infection.
This isn't good. I don't know how the league's going to handle this one.
But you can't really fine, you can't, that's the thing is you can't really fine Team USA. You can't ask them to pay anything back. It's a volunteer basis. Well, I mean, what do you even do? What kind? There can't be any repercussions to this. It's
screwed. Nuts and bolts. You got screwed.
Yeah.
He got screwed. He won't be able to play now indefinitely. Bruins just what do they put him on long-term injured reserve, save the $9 million, and try to upgrade the team, or what do they do now?
Regardless of the difference between hockey and NBA mentality, do you think that teams who are having a good enough season for their players to be so impactful, they turn down a tournament like this in the future to avoid these situations?
Some other guys did, right? Because of injury, not cleared. I got on the NBA for their weekend that they had. They got dominated by two things: the USA-Canada game and Saturday Night Live's 50th anniversary. Like NBA All-Star Weekend got dominated. We laughed at it.
I watched it.
Well, at least the ratings were down. And
Because Kevin Hart wouldn't shut the hell up. Somebody needs to take that bozo's microphone and hit him across the head with it and tell him to go home.
Well, we did this last night.
Ugh.
I'm glad you feel this way.
So sick of Kevin Hart.
Hey.
But Kendra, he's short. That's funny.
So am I.
That's a joke. He's short.
Short. My whole thing is, though, is that as uncompetitive as it was, everyone's fine, right?
Well, they don't try. That's why they're fine.
Mm.
I don't know if LeBron's fine, Joe.
No, he
real worried about LeBron.
He tapped out before the game, remember?
Okay, I'm taller than Kevin Hart by 2 inches. Never mind.
You're not short.
No, I'm not. But, I thought that I would be shorter than him, but I'm not.
You got something? This guy's just smiling back there.
No, I'm out on Kevin Hart as well.
Okay. But you said uncompetitive, where this isn't a competitive sport, right? Well, a guy went out there who was dealing with something. I don't know the communication with the Bruins, but I'm going to just say that it definitely had to ramp up versus the Canadian team. It had to have, right? This thing couldn't have just been I'm fine. This thing had to have ramped up with those hits were big. And I was really hard on McAvoy and his play with the Bruins, and I called him McAverage. But the fact is he can't play that style of hockey for 82 games a year.
No, but I wish he could.
A lot of people, for $9 million a year, you wish he could too.
Why was it so easy for him to get up in these games? Because to be honest, it's not a difference in play or anything like that. It's not like you were playing a terrible team in either of these situations. You're playing the best of the best in this tournament.
Do you think this is an infection? I know it's reported, but could he have hurt his shoulder and be like, I'm fine? And
well, that's the thing. Did they specify that it was a shoulder infection, or do you think that he could have a sinus infection on top of the shoulder? And maybe they're just like, well, he has an infection.
I know. I'm not.
I didn't see anything that they specified.
I only saw him go into literally his shoulder went into the goalpost, and he got up slow after.
I mean, I would too.
That's what I mean. I don't know. There's a lot going on here. I need more. Let's hear from you guys at 617-779-0985. All right, what should we do? Nuggets, most overrated player, or read between the lines?
Let's start with read between the lines.
Steve's in the car. Steve.
Hey, good evening, Kendra and Joe. I got a little bit. I think you guys are reading between the lines on the McAvoy thing, but not deeply enough. Infections do not happen magically inside the human body. I'm thinking he got an injection of some kind in that shoulder, got infected because he got the injection because he wanted to play for his country. But I think something went sideways there because infections don't happen magically. That's just my take.
Yep. Reminds me of Rocky. You know, the Drago is just pump him up. Just, he must die. Just pump him up. I can't speculate on that, but how else do you get infection? I don't know. Could you have ate something? Could you have
They didn't specify what type of infection it was.
Dan's and JP.
All right. Hey, I could appreciate the need for content, and McAvoy's a big deal to the Bruins, but Joe, you're 100% right. He's the most he's McAverage. He hasn't had 50 points in 5 years. There's 10 better defensemen in the NHL. He's a nobody. He sucks. He's just not good. He has under 30 points so far this year. It's just terrible. I don't even understand.
I'll say this, Dan. I didn't mean to cut you off. He said most underrated player in the last 25 years, overrated player. Skaz, would you like to give your take on why maybe we don't see it? Again, we had Anson Carter on Monday night who raved about his play. Everybody nationally raved on the broadcast. People raved. He was one of the top 5 players on the ice. So, do you want to explain why maybe we don't see it?
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty stupid call. I don't usually like to say that, but Charlie McAvoy is one of the best players on the ice for a Team USA versus Team Canada hockey game. I would say those are the most elite players in the world, and Charlie McAvoy was one of the top 5, elite players on that night. So do I get it? The Bruins fans are frustrated with Charlie McAvoy. Absolutely. But if you're expecting him to score 50 points a year, I don't think you've ever watched Charlie McAvoy play hockey. That's not who he is. That's not who he ever was going to be. He's a defenseman that is elite defensively, and you want a little more out of his offensive game. I get it. But for me, the thing, and Kendra just asked it too, why does he look like this for Team USA at times and not for the Bruins? To me, that's a Don Sweeney issue. It's about the talent on the roster for Team USA. Charlie McAvoy feels more comfortable being Charlie McAvoy and playing at that level because he knows the other guys on the ice are at that level as well, and he doesn't have to worry about covering for a Nikita Zadorov or covering for Parker Walderspoon or whoever else is out there. So for me, if your issue with how Charlie McAvoy looks on a nightly basis, it's not a Charlie McAvoy issue. It's a Don Sweeney issue. The talent on the roster is not good enough. Charlie McAvoy is not the elite of an NHL defenseman. He's not going to elevate everybody on the roster. He's a very, very good NHL defenseman. And to say that he's overrated, I just think you're upset as a Bruins fan because they stink and the Bruins aren't very good because they don't have a lot of talent. That's not Charlie McAvoy's fault. So for me, I think Charlie McAvoy is, a top 10, 15 defenseman in the NHL. And guess what? They make $9.5 million a year. There are guys in the NHL who make more than Charlie McAvoy who are not as good as him. I think Erik Karlsson's the highest paid defenseman in the league right now. 5 years ago, I'd have Karlsson over McAvoy. Right now, today, certainly not. So I think the McAvoy discussion gets a little convoluted because of the Bruins roster.
Let me give you the most overrated player in the NHL right now. It's Trevor Zegras, and it's not close.
Yeah, but he's a TikTok star.
That's what I was going to say. The only reason that he gets the hype that he does is because all of these girls on TikTok writing their smutty little books about Trevor Zegras. You cannot tell me that he is more overrated than him. You cannot.
I just want to know where this shot is coming from. Like, where are all these, I got the infection from the shot. Like, give me a source it, please. If that's what happened, source it.
I'm going to scream when it comes out that he had a sinus infection. And they just so that they could make this seem worse because of the negligible whatever.
Listen, I don't think if the Team USA had a mishap in the health of a player, I think the Bruins should expose it.
Oh, 1,000%.
I don't want Team USA to go down or any of that. I don't mean it like that. It's just they're borrowing your players.
They're not paying him.
Exactly. So, like, if there was, I'm not going to use the word malpractice, right? I'm not going to use that word.
Why?
All right, fine. If there was malpractice,
that's exactly what it is.
Expose it.
If you want to say you want them to expose it, you have to use the word that is accurately depicting what it would be.
Sometimes I get, when we say things on the air,
say it with your chest.
People say, and then Joe said malpractice. I just said if there was.
But that's what it is.
Expose it.
If that's what happened, that's what happened. Call a spade a spade. When somebody shows you what they are, believe them the first time.
Jeff is in Townsend. Jeff.
Hello.
Jeff.
What's happening?
What's happening, Jeff?
What's happening with you?
Nothing. I was thinking about the way you were talking about hockey players. I grew up as a hockey player, and they go 100 miles an hour no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Whether it's tryouts, whether it's peewee tryouts, playing in the Olympics, or playing for their own team. And you guys are judging these people that they're going too fast, but
I'm not judging
as a hockey player, that's what you're born to do.
Yeah.
You're born to go out and play as hard as you can every single day.
Is that how you live your life, Jeff?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Where'd you play?
I grew up in Townsend, won a high school championship. I played at Worcester State. I'm 44 years old.
Nice.
I had to give up the game at 35 because I played too hard and I couldn't let the pass go.
You tear your ACL.
Like when you lace them up and you get on the ice, you want to play as hard as you possibly can.
What position did you play?
I played defense.
Jeff, you ever eat a McNugget with honey on it?
Yes, multiple times.
I love that for you.
But I was 5'5".
Sorry. Short.
You can't use that slur.
Okay. He has Napoleon. Can I use that word? Complex?
Napoleon
No?
syndrome.
Hey, listen. I played hockey at Fallon Field, street hockey goalie, okay? And I went 110. We're judging McAvoy now? Like, we're judging him? He played.
You don't understand, Joe. These hockey players, they lace their skates up and they play hard. That's what they do. They
good.
play hard.
You can't shut them off.
It's just the mentality. I would know. I played hockey in elementary school.
Worcester, hey, when does
I got hurt. I played too hard. I had to stop. Couldn't lace them up anymore.
You should be on the new Saturday Night Live, year 51. I like that. Clancy's in New Hampshire. Hey, Clancy.
Joe, Michelin star Murray. I'm disappointed you haven't tried the McDonald's honey on a nugget.
What was the Michelin star thing?
I like that.
You're the food critic for 98.5, and you haven't tried the honey on the nugget. I'm disappointed.
Well, I wish I got
it's almost
paid to
as
be a
good.
food
It's not
critic.
as good as the sweet and sour. The sweet and sour, you got to put it on the burger, though. Have you ever done that?
Sweet and yeah, dude. I worked at a McDonald's. I've done everything.
I love it. But you haven't had the honey. You got to have the honey.
I didn't even know that the honey existed.
You could put it on anything. I mean, you could put it on a scorched butt cheek.
Yeah, you could. Yes, you could. Yes, sir. Yes. That guy, butt stuff.
Joe, are you unfamiliar with what a Michelin star is?
Yeah.
Wait, do you know how Michelin stars started? Do you guys know about this?
I am aware of this.
I thought that he was calling me the Michelin man.
No.
But that's how Michelin stars started.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's because the Michelin tires, they wanted to push you buying tires, so they would encourage you to drive your car to try different restaurants, which is how they started naming the Michelin. It is literally the same as the tire.
So, like, if a restaurant has one Michelin star, that's like a very, nice restaurant. 2 Michelin stars is like, elite, and then very rarely there are like a 3 Michelin star restaurant.
How come I don't know this?
Joe, I'm disappointed.
I am too. But is this the age in us? Like, I'm 42. You guys are.
No, I feel like this has been around for a while.
Michelin stars are way older than people in their 20s.
Wow. Well.
Wow, Trent just said Joe should know this.
Wow. Get his ass. I like Trent. He can stay.
Trent's cool. He's going to get that live call for us and post it to the internet in a minute here. You want to hang out for in or out?
Absolutely,
Okay,
I do.
let's do this. Let's break quickly. I see Dave, our medical professional, is on the line. We have Sean and we have Patrick. We'll take your calls, then we'll break. We'll do in or out. So we got the headlines here. I'm Joe Murray, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Well, Charlie McAvoy will miss time when the Bruins return on Sunday. He will not play in tomorrow night's Team USA versus Canada game. Red Sox camp continued today. Not much as far as controversy. Patriots, they have released linebacker Sione Taki. The NFL salary cap will increase this season, which will make the Patriots right around $125 million in cap space. Eagles have promoted Kevin Patolo as their offensive coordinator. I don't know who he is. And the Celtics, they're back in action tomorrow when they play against the 76ers. Will Embiid play? What do you think? I'm going to go no. 50-50 no on that one, Skiz. 50-50 no. Headlines, they are...
You're listening to Joe.
back here at 98.5 The Sports Hub. Kendra Middleton's here. The people want to talk to you.
Let's do it.
Let's talk to Patrick. Hey, Patrick.
How you doing? You guys kind of stole my thunder, but I wanted to say Team USA or the Boston Bruins cannot do anything legally, but Charlie McAvoy can just call one of those guys on TV and ask for a malpractice lawsuit. I have a little bit of experience with this. A year ago, my cat bit me. I went to urgent care. A non-medical person gave me a shot, and I got a really bad case of cellulitis and a couple other friggin' diseases, and I'm still recovering from it. My thumb has not been the same.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
I have so many questions. First of all, what is your cat on? Hello?
Second of all, did he say someone that was not a medical professional?
That was my second question.
That reminds me of like Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad when he just goes to meet the veterinarian to get stuff done. Dave's a medical professional. Hi, Dave.
Moving on way too quickly.
I'm still stuck on that. Anyways, hi, Dave.
So, just to clarify, I'm reading the statement from the doctor. It does specifically say he injured his right shoulder, was treated by Team USA for his right shoulder, and then developed an infection in his right shoulder. So it's not a sinus issue.
Okay.
Just wanted to fill you guys in. If he had an AC joint separation or an AC joint strain, in order to reduce the swelling and get him able to play, the number one intervention is the anti-inflammatory injection or cortisone injection.
Mm-hmm.
With every cortisone injection, there's a 2% risk of infection. So this is not any malpractice or any mistake. It's just shit luck that he's...
Oh, dummy up. Law of averages, everybody.
Well, thank you for the correction. I appreciate that.
Listen, we're not doctors here. We're just having a conversation. Like we're hanging out at the bar.
I still think that there is a once again, I'm like you, I don't want to say that there was malpractice involved here, but the issue is that whether it's the treatment before what happened with the shot for me that I think is weird.
Nick's in Marlboro. Hey, Nick.
What's up, Joe? Yeah, I heard you guys talking about the Michelin star. I don't know if you guys have any idea about it, but Michelin star, it's both brothers were French. It started in, 1926, and they did it as a sales and marketing pitch to get people to go and buy more tires. The first Michelin star was given out in 1926, and then all it was basically for was they wanted you to buy the tires and go try this restaurant. 1 star basically says, hey, you should maybe if you're on your way, you should stop and try it. 2 stars is go out of your way and try it. 3 stars is take a whole trip and go way out of your way, depending on where it is, and definitely try this restaurant. That's a little background on Michelin stars. It goes on from there, but yeah, it was basically just a sales and marketing gimmick from the beginning.
Thank you for your service.
Thank
Have you
you.
ever traveled for a restaurant specifically?
Driven? Yeah.
I mean, I would say over 3 hours.
I've gone to Miami before.
Just to go to a restaurant.
And I've gone to Versailles in Little Havana.
Like on purpose. That was your whole trip.
Yeah.
I've done that for Waffle House. Multiple times.
Chris Cotillo, Smitty this week were both they're renting a room in Fort Myers, and I said, have you guys been to Waffle House or Red Lobster?
They're renting a room together?
Him and Sean McAdam, the 3 of them.
I
think it's more of a house than a room.
Whatever.
I have something to say that I'm not willing to say on air, but I will text Chris Cotillo myself.
That's great.
You know about like the single chair in a room? Yeah, Skaz knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, he does. You don't know about this trend?
I feel like I'm old. I feel like an old right now. I don't know about Michelin stars.
Can
I
you
don't know
say
about
it
the
to
trend.
him in his ear really quick? Because I need to see his reaction. Because the audience knows what I'm saying. But I need to know. Yep, there you go.
Got it.
Yep.
But that's how you have to tell me. I don't know that term.
Yes, you do. You know what both of those things are separately. But you know how every hotel has that one random chair in the corner.
I told Skaz I'd break at 7:53.
Sorry, Skaz.
No, that's me. It's always me. Do you want to do in or out?
Yes.
We're going to do it next on the Sports Hour.
What's it gonna be, McFly? Are you in or out?
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
I'm the one you need for a dirty deed. I'm the best. Success is guaranteed. Basketball reporter. About 15, 20 minutes here. So, Skaz, we have a Kendra related in or out.
Oh my goodness.
So, well, it's because we'd like your opinion on it.
Yes, Joe. So we will start with something that I've seen Kendra post recently, something sweeping the internet. These Dubai chocolate bars.
Mm-hmm.
Kendra, can you please explain them to Joe, and then we will hear if Joe is in or out on the Dubai chocolate bars.
So, from my understanding, they're just a stuffed chocolate bar. I've only had the pistachio one, but it was a milk chocolate. It was rich, but not overly sweet chocolate bar stuffed with like a marshmallow pistachio filling. I have to say, you know how much I hate things that go viral online because 90% of the time I feel like they are undeserving of the hype. The pop-up bagels deserve the hype, and the Dubai chocolate bars deserve the hype. I told Skaz I'm going to bring you guys one in sometime next week just for, poops and gigs.
So are they like, when you say a bar, it's like a bar? Like a chocolate bar?
I'll show
like
you the video I made
bar.
at the break.
And it's what again? Dubai?
Dubai chocolate.
Dubai.
Oh my God. I still have Liam Cohen PTSD.
That was going to be my in or out.
That was so bad.
In or out on Liam Cohen?
I'm in because it seems like him and Trevor love each other, and anything to resurrect Trevor Lawrence's career, I would sell a kidney for. If Trevor weren't this bought in, and I know that he has to be.
Hanging up on your callers and converse with them.
What time is your show on, pal?
You said we're not doctors here. We're just having a conversation at a bar. Do you turn your back on people when talking to them at the bar?
Sometimes, yes, I do actually all the time because you know what? Men are creepy.
Guess what his handle is? Land of the Free. Skaz, what else do we have tonight, sir?
Yes, Joe. Kevin Weeks, NHL reporter, dropped today that the NHL could be looking to add a team in New Orleans. Are we in or out on an NHL team in New Orleans?
Out. Out. Vegas is great, but I'm out. No more Southern hockey teams.
I think we need to contract some teams.
I'm from Florida, and I'm saying that. The fact that the state of Florida has dominated the NHL for the last decade is disgusting. And I grew up a Bolts fan. Gross.
I'm out because they don't. Could they move a team there?
I'm sorry, but Milwaukee is more deserving of a hockey team than New Orleans. It is distasteful and abhorrent that there is not going to be a hockey team in Wisconsin before potentially New Orleans. As much as I will say, hear me out, the crowd, there wouldn't be one. But if there was one, you know what? I'm out unless they call them the Crawdads. Or the Mudbugs. Mudbugs forever. I'm out unless that is the scenario. Just for the merchandise. I'm a seller.
I think I'd buy a Mudbugs jersey.
Hell yeah. You ever eaten a Mudbug?
Of course.
What about you?
Not that
You don't look like a brain sucker. Sorry.
I'm a city kid that doesn't know what you're talking about.
I love a good
Just like I didn't
brain.
know what a Michelin star was. Next.
All right, Will Smith back in the news today for multiple reasons, but we'll start with this one. Will Smith announced that he is working on a Hitch sequel. Are we in or out on a sequel to Hitch?
In. There are some movies that I get Shawshank to. Is that who it is? Eva Mendes? Who is that?
I believe Eva Mendes is in that.
Is she going to be in this one?
I don't know. I believe Will Smith and Kevin James will be back. I believe.
Can we do the dance? The Kevin.
And throw it away.
Yeah.
And throw it away.
I'm in.
I'm so out. Can we be
Did you like Hitch?
Yes, but can we be more creative? We just keep making the same damn movies over and over and over again. Remakes of the movies, sequels to the movies. It's the same crap over and over again. The live action Disney stuff, I hate it. Do something else.
Like there's some things. Overboard should have never been redone. Footloose should have never been redone.
Roadhouse?
Roadhouse should have never been redone. Out. So people don't like Will Smith, but I do. I grew up on Will Smith, and therefore I like Hitch, and I would like to see part 2.
Sticking with Hitch, Jason Tatum has a Hitch tattoo and is a massive Hitch fan, and he has put on his Instagram that he would like to be in the sequel. Are you in or out on Jason Tatum in the Hitch sequel?
What would he do? What would he be? What would happen?
Yeah, I'm sure just like an ancillary character.
Oh, maybe like he wants to like take out a new girl, and then like hey, I want to go to Boston this weekend, and it's like maybe
his connect is Tatum or something. They meet up with Tatum to try and impress the girl or something.
And he like wants to have a kid, and then he meets Deuce or something.
I mean, if there's gonna be one, I'm in. Whatever.
I love Hitch.
I couldn't tell.
Apparently so, Joe.
Yeah.
I didn't know this
You
about
ever
you.
seen it?
Have I, dude? The dance that Kevin Hart has
My
done.
joke just went straight over Joe's
but the
head.
Kevin James dance is like electric, right? I think it was yeah.
Some little John and Usher.
Yeah.
Who do you think the best actor on the Celtics would be? Personally, I would probably say Peyton Pritchard.
Luke Cornett.
Luke Cornett.
You think Luke Cornett?
I'm a Cornett guy.
Number one, Luke Cornett.
I think JB could be a good actor too, Jaylen Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Better than Tatum.
I think so.
There's a show, Insecure, I liked with Issa.
Yeah, Issa Rae.
One of the guys on that show reminded me of, I thought it was Jaylen Brown. It wasn't, but I thought it was. That's a good question. What Boston athlete?
What Boston athlete would be the best actor? Well, it's not.
Marchand's known to dive around out there and put on some theatrics.
Great answer.
Sean Thornton was in Ted.
Brendan Schooler's kind of goofy.
Schooler, huh?
I think Missoula would be good. Put him in.
He's too serious. I don't think that he could play a character. He has one vibe. He seems like he says the same joke 37 times a night. Unless he played that same character in a movie, you couldn't know.
Someone says Joe was a King of Queens junkie. I was not. Never watched it.
Tristan Cassis might be the guy.
My God.
I'm not even kidding.
He kind of looks like Jimmy Fallon, doesn't he?
He sat up there yesterday and sold to all of us, not very well,
lied,
that Rafael Devers was the best at his position in the entire MLB. If
true.
you don't think that man could act, what was that yesterday? What was that?
That's a good take.
All right, I'm sure we've all unfortunately become familiar with the Delta Airlines flight that landed upside down. Well, Delta Airlines is offering $30,000 each to the
Hold
passengers.
out. You have to hold out, baby. 30 grand?
30 grand.
Add another zero, and another zero.
Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just passing it along.
I asked this to Felger tonight. If you were on that flight, I'm sure everyone has seen the video, and you saw the woman who was scolding the guy for having his phone out and taking a video telling him to put his phone away. Would you be videoing you exiting that plane, yes or no?
Yes, you know why?
For this situation.
Signs,
exactly for this situation.
They're going to have to carry me out of that plane.
Signs.
I'm not leaving that plane of my own volition. Right. You're going to have to get someone to get me out of that
I may have hurt my AC joint, and I need someone to look at it.
You're going to try and screw me over the same way they're doing right now.
By the way, this happens, just to make it relatable, this happens with jobs.
Absolutely.
They let people go and say, hey, we're going to give you this, when it's like, no.
$30,000. That's not even a first-class flight from the U.S. to China. That is like those flights are like $17,000. You could get there and back in first class, and that's it. Please.
30 grand.
Yeah, if you're asking me if I'd like to be involved in a plane crash and get 30 grand, I would say no.
I want to be. If I had to be, not to be insensitive, but if you had to tell me that I could be in a little, situation and be set for life. And I'm sure that, and I said this to Felger earlier, the Delta, and this is why I would have recorded this, is because you know that Delta's lawyers are tippity-top, cream of the crop, went to, Penn Law, whatever the hell. Oh, you bet your ass I don't care how inconvenient it is. I am recording every single second of that crap. And if you tell me to put my phone away, I'm going to laugh in your face.
I thought you were going to say something else.
No.
Skaz, what else we have?
Yes. Well, Will Smith continues to be in the news.
Oh, my God.
More sequels. A Hancock sequel is reportedly in the works, and Will Smith wants Zendaya to be involved.
Out.
Yeah, Hancock stunk.
Out. Any of the, the Karate Kid 3 with Will Smith's kid was horrendously awful. Out.
Watched that in high school, Joe.
During
class.
Sucked, right? Did
During
it suck?
class. It was better than Class, but yeah, not a good movie.
Not good.
No.
I watched The Land Before Time in class. You watched that movie in class? What did you watch in class?
We watched Stand and Deliver a lot. That was on repeat in the classroom.
I was homeschooled in high school, but middle school, we were all Bill Nye. Or what was that? The Rock was whatever with the Bill.
Fraggle Rock, maybe?
No.
Or, yes, like a
the Bill on
Schoolhouse
the Hill.
Rock.
Yeah, that.
How to Pass a Bill.
I have a question for you. Because I feel this way about Zendaya, therefore I am out before I say this. I think that she is one of those actresses or actors or whatever who has been in too many things for me to be able to look at them outside of certain characters. I can't look at her outside of Dune and Euphoria anymore. I don't need her in another major role that I can't separate her in my mind from. We need to spread the love.
In? What else we got? I got a couple more minutes here.
Joe, last night I tried to explain to you what the viral meme of Montoya Por Favor was.
Yes.
Montoya Por Favor!
This has been sweeping the internet. I was very surprised that you had not seen it. We did learn that it was from a show called Temptation Island. So I would just like Kendra to try and explain to you what exactly is happening on Temptation Island.
Have you ever seen Love Island?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm pretty sure it's just the Hispanic version of that, correct?
What's going on in that bed that everyone's watching?
Let me tell you a little something about this thing called the Birds and the Bees.
Yeah. Is that what's going on, though?
Yeah.
Who is it?
It's his girl and one of the other
So it's his
Islanders.
girl.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's his girl, and that's why he's and then he runs. Yeah, and it happened more than once. I think in total it happened 3 times.
Do we know who it is?
I don't
Yeah.
know who it is, Joe, but I think the viewers probably
Yeah.
do.
If you watch the show, it's like it's all. That's
I
all.
have to watch.
He ran back from like wherever they were
He
interviewing
was watching
him
and then ran in
to the villa
because everyone was watching.
Yes.
That was live.
Yes.
Oh my God!
Montoya, por favor!
This reminds me of the espresso bit on SNL with Domingo.
There's an English version. I'll find it for you on
Have
Twitter.
you seen the? Do you watch Saturday Night Live?
No.
Okay, listen. If you're gonna just SNL Domingo.
Honey, I watched this NBA All-Star game over SNL 50. I didn't even know it was happening. If that is how uneducated about all this, I watched this All-Star game over that because I didn't know it was happening.
I'm glad the chat is on my side on this one because I didn't know unless Skaz mentioned it to me. So
but you're so into the internet.
Guys, I need you. This is why we have you on the show. I need to be informed of
Dubai
things like
chocolate
these.
and Montoya. That's all I'm good for.
Dubai. That Montoya. Now I know what's going on there. I don't like it. I feel bad for Montoya.
Would you rather watch it in Spanish to feel like the true, or would you rather watch it in English just so you know? I think he's got to watch it in Spanish, right?
It's better in Spanish.
Yeah,
I
I
agree.
gotta watch it in Spanish first.
Joe, it's so good.
I'm in. I want to see it. Anything else we have, Skaz?
Yeah, sure. Why not, Joe? Rice Krispie Treats have a new item hitting grocery stores across the country. They are Rice Krispie Treat ice cream sandwiches.
In.
I figured this would be an easy one.
A Rice Krispie Treat. But is there chocolate on the outside?
It is in Slack, Joe, if you'd like to take a look.
Please, thank you. Okay, I love Rice Krispie Treats.
Me too.
The marshmallow.
I love marshmallow. Wow. You know what I've never had? What's the fluff sandwiches you guys do here?
Fluffernutter.
Yeah, I've never had one.
Do you know what came out here? It was from... Okay. You did say that, right? And I just said it again. So it's actually a Rice Krispie Treat, but the strawberry is the ice cream in the middle. Where did strawberry and Rice Krispie Treats come together?
I don't like that.
Why not just...
Give me the classic. If that's the only option, I'm out then. I don't want
Can I get
strawberry.
chocolate on the out? Like, can I get a Rice Krispie Treat but chocolate on both ends so it looks like a sandwich?
Can I just get like a disc of Rice Krispie Treat with ice cream in the middle? I don't want the chocolate either.
Vanilla ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I just want the Rice Krispie on the outside with the vanilla in the middle. Or like a okay, hear me out. What about a marshmallow ice cream on the inside?
In.
Yeah.
That is a Rice Krispie
Screw your
treat, though.
strawberry. Miss me with that junk. Ain't no way.
I would eat this though. I would try this.
I mean, I would, but it wouldn't be my preference.
I don't. That's a lot of ice cream in the middle of that treat.
Good. Good.
Is Trevor Lawrence going to the Steelers?
That is the biggest joke I've ever heard in my entire existence.
I told you, Joe.
That's so stupid. The Steelers are stupid, but I thought that they were a little smarter than that. That is one of the stupidest things that I have heard in a long time.
This year's All-Star game was the second least watched in history.
And I was one of the idiots that watched it. Correct.
All right, well, maybe next time we have you on, I'll ask you what the Patriots should do it for.
I will bring you Dubai chocolate, and we can do...
Let's do it for real.
Yeah, we'll do like a mock draft situation.
A mock draft situation of food?
We could do a mukbang. I'll bring in
mukbang.
nuggets with honey. I'll bring in the chocolate my mom mailed me from home and Dubai chocolate, and we can discuss the draft. Dubai chocolate in the draft.
This sounds like, movie night. Let's spill some tea.
Yeah, we could do a mukbang.
We'll bring some tea and we'll drink with our pinkies.
Yeah, because we're fancy.
That's right.
The higher your pinky, the fancier you are.
Did someone say I was classism tonight?
That you are a classist?
Yeah, I'm a
Yes.
classist?
Someone did say that
Do
about
people
you.
know where I came from? That's insulting to me. What if they said that to you? How would you feel?
That I'm Leonard Skinner white trash.
I didn't say that.
But I am. That's
But
what
I would
but
just
you
say,
asked me
like-
what I would say, and that's what I
No,
would say.
I am, and you, we are anything but classes. Skaz too.
I'm from Duval County. Yes. Yes.
All right, Kendra, we got to go because we have Noah.
I love you guys.
Kendra Middleton, everybody. You'll
I'm
be
going
on
to show
this
him
week?
Montoya.
When are
I'll
you
be
on?
on Friday morning,
Friday morning,
Saturday morning.
and Saturday morning.
Yes.
Friday with Fred, Saturday with Dan.
Correct.
And you got me at least.
Yeah.
So we're all
getting up.
friends. All right, Kendra Middleton, everybody. We'll talk to Noah Dalzell coming up next here on the Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
just found out about Montoya Por Favor. And, well, I have thoughts. Thank you, Kendra Middleton, for tonight. Wanted to talk some basketball as things get back going tomorrow. Let's go to the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline right now. We'll welcome in. It's ladies' night. Noah Dalzell. She works with Celtics and CLNS. She covers the WNBA, and she was there for All-Star Weekend. Noah, appreciate you joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So how was All-Star Weekend? I just saw that, the ratings were the lowest ever. Did you get that kind of vibe? At times did it feel like maybe some people didn't know what they were doing there? And on a Celtics point of view, did they even know what they were doing there?
All good questions. I will say I've had a lot of people ask me how All-Star Weekend was, and I can personally say I had a good time. Like, I had a fun weekend, but it was not a good product, and I don't know that you could make the case that it was. And I actually feel like it's probably good news that there were low ratings, because it means that not that many people saw what happened, and that was just a really poor performance of by the league. I thought more so than the players, of just putting a product together that wasn't really basketball, but it wasn't really that entertaining. There was Kevin Hart kind of like center stage during the game itself. There was new wrinkles and rules and concerts and just like a lot happening, and people just wanted to see them compete, and the players really weren't able to. And after the game, they all said like there was this weird 20-minute intermission in the middle of smack in the middle of the game. Like, it wasn't a halftime, it wasn't anything, and nobody knew it was coming, and they all got stiff during that break, and then nobody really wanted to try hard afterwards. So not a well-done thing from the league perspective, but it's always a fun time to be there, just from a reporter standpoint. Like, it's a lot of fun to just be around all the athletes and other reporters and everything. But yeah, it was definitely a little bit disappointing.
So you watched the game. If you look at a box score, we know where it was, and maybe that's why Steph Curry won the MVP. But I don't know. Should Jason Tatum have been All-Star Game MVP?
I thought he was the best player. So yeah, probably he was just more efficient. But if you look at the voting panel, it was multiple Warriors reporters, and it was in at Chase Center, and nobody in that crowd wanted to. I mean, some of the Celtics fans were in the crowd, but for the most part, people wanted to see Steph have his moment. So he made it close enough where there was a viable, you could vote for him, and it wouldn't be weird. But just looking at the box score and looking at the game, I thought that Tatum played with a good energy, and he pretty much made I think he was 9 of 11 across the 2 games from the field. So he probably deserved that one. But honestly, the accolade didn't feel super meaningful regardless. Though I know in history, those stay with you, so I'm sure he wanted it, somewhat.
All right, Noah, take your reporter hat off for a minute here. I wanted to kind of talk to you about this one. Do you feel as though maybe Tatum and Brown, I shouldn't even say maybe, are Tatum and Brown somewhat being somewhat left out of certain conversations or awards because of Steph Curry, LeBron James, Kevin Durant? And, I'm going back to Team USA, even this All-Star game. I feel like they're now at the top, going for back-to-back. Are they still being left on the back burner because of the LeBrons who didn't play in the All-Star game, Steph who gets the All-Star game MVP, and Durant who gets the accolades? Is that what you're seeing? Forget about reporting. Is that just what's happening?
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, there probably is something to that, because everybody knows that the 3 faces of the NBA are LeBron, Steph, and then to a somewhat lesser extent, Kevin Durant. And we're all holding on as they continue to extend their careers, I think, beyond what people expected. And in the meantime, there are a lot of other players, including Tatum and Brown, who are at the peak of their career right now. And it still feels like it's a little bit in the shadows of LeBron and Steph and those guys. The only thing I think is, in 2-3 years, probably that chapter will be over, and they'll still be in their prime. So there will be a moment in time where the attention is more on the current group. But this whole thing about faces of the NBA, I mean, that's a big discussion that we're always having. And it almost feels like this generation of guys that are, 26, 27, 28 are kind of being skipped over, because the older group is still the face, and then there will be the younger group of Wemby and Anthony Edwards or whoever else might be in that group. And so it is kind of weird just to kind of how long those guys have extended their careers, and then things like Team USA, where LeBron and Steph were still the 2 best players on that team. It's, how that team was constructed and run, they produced the most. So it's hard to push back against it too, because they are still producing on the floor.
All right, Noah Dalzell joins us here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. You can check out her work, Celtics CLNS, Celtics blog. She covers the WNBA as well. You mentioned face of the NBA. I know this is the dull time in sports and sports talk, TV and radio. But, some big names like Stephen A. and Nick Wright have said some things, such as maybe a European player can't be the face of the NBA. Some have said that Jason Tatum can't be the face of the NBA. What are your thoughts on both of those?
I think the face of the NBA is the player that goes back to the finals year after year. Steph Curry, LeBron, they're charismatic, they're American, they have big personalities. But the real reason that I think they were the face of the NBA for so long is because every June you knew you would see them in the finals. And ultimately, in the most meaningful moments in basketball, they were a part of them for years. And so, to me, the Celtics right now, you don't have to like Tatum and Brown. You can find them boring. You can find their games boring, whatever else it is. If they continue to be the last one standing, which during this era of basketball, they've consistently been the team that goes the farthest, and now they have a championship to show for it, inevitably Tatum will have to be one of the faces of the NBA. I think he gets a little bit of Tim Duncan treatment, where because he's not loud and because he doesn't say things that are controversial or whatnot, people kind of overlook his game and overlook his just who he is as a player. But if they go back to back right now, you can say you want the face of the league to be Anthony Edwards, but if Anthony Edwards makes the first round of the playoffs and flames out, and Tatum's there for the finals and hoists that championship trophy, it doesn't really matter what the pundits say. I think that ultimately determines who the face of the league is.
Good answer. How about just looking at some Celtic stuff here? They get back going tomorrow. Do you have any updates on Drew Holiday? Is there anything to worry about here? Could this be long? Do you have anything on Drew Holiday?
Yeah, Drew's playing tomorrow. So the injury report is out, and Drew is back. Jaylen Brown is back. Jaylen, I think just the fact that he played in the All-Star game, I kind of knew he was going to be available tomorrow. But Drew missed the last 4 games before the break with a right shoulder impingement. And it's really hard, as I have to say, from all the things I've learned about reporting, getting any information on these guys' injuries is really challenging, but it's something that he has dealt with on and off the season, but ultimately I think it's something that he can play through. But I am kind of keeping my eye on just how his shooting is, in the second half of the season, because I feel like that was one of the main differences between last year's team and this year's team is just his shooting splits have gone way down. I don't know if it's because of his shoulder or it could be totally unrelated. But certainly we'll keep our eye on him. But he's back in the fold. He's not on the injury report at all. The only guy on the injury report for tomorrow is Xavier Tillman, who's dealing with left knee inflammation. So I think this should be at full strength for the most part. And I'm sure Drew's enjoyed these last few weeks off to just kind of recover, because he played through the Olympics. He was the only guy in the Celtics that really had extensive Olympic minutes too, which I think people forget. And he's 34. So I think this was a good break for him regardless.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to ask you about the story. I saw you talk to Michael Carter-Williams about a WNBA team possibly coming to Boston. And in the story, you said they could be open to purchase an existing team like the Connecticut Sun. I think a lot of people around here probably view the Sun as, Boston's WNBA team. They've played at the Garden, a lot of fans in the area. Do you think that would be what would happen, or do you think Boston would end up with their own WNBA team?
Yeah, it's a good question. And honestly, when I wrote the article today, I was thinking I don't want to make it seem like one thing is very, very possible, because honestly, there's a dozen cities right now that are pursuing a WNBA team, and Boston is now in the mix, but it doesn't mean that there's going to be a team here in any capacity anytime soon. Logically, it makes more sense to me that there wouldn't be a team in Boston and in Mohegan Sun, which is less than 2 hours away, uses the same media broadcast. They're on NBC Sports Boston, everything. It just feels like that would be a little crowded. But the Sun have to be sold, and so far, nothing publicly from their ownership or even behind the scenes that I've heard. They don't want to sell. It would be, the Mohegan Sun tribe. They don't want to sell. It benefits them to have, a team come in, and then people can gamble afterwards and eat in the casino. It's good for their business model. So though they haven't invested to the same level that I think other WNBA ownership groups have in recent years, they don't have their own practice facility. They haven't announced an official plan to unveil their own facility. And I think that's a big part of why they're having trouble retaining players and attracting free agents. But yeah, ultimately, it would make more sense for them to just sell, and for this ownership group to buy and to have a home in Boston in a much bigger market that would just benefit the athletes, honestly, more than anybody. And I think Celtics fans are ready and primed to support a WNBA team, especially right now. Maybe 5 years ago I wouldn't have felt the same way, but the moment in time right now makes sense. But again, none of it is possible if they don't want to sell. And right now it feels a little bit more like a hope and an aspiration than anything that's concrete on the ground that I've heard.
Yeah, a good friend, Brendan Glasheen, calls the games for Connecticut, and when they came to Boston, it was packed. Like that was and listen, Boston loves basketball. There's no doubt about that. I do have a Caitlin Clark question, though. I'm a card collector. She's huge right now in the card collecting world. Her autographs, her cards are number one, but should she have been at All-Star Weekend? Was there a reason why she wasn't there? Do you think that could have helped? And do you think she will be there maybe at some future All-Star Weekends?
I definitely think it would have helped because I think she's one of the most popular athletes in America right now, and definitely in basketball. Forget male or female. And I do think that part of what's boring about the All-Star Weekend is that it's the same event every year, but they seemingly get slightly worse. So everybody loved Steph and Sabrina last year, even though Sabrina is not the name that Caitlin Clark is, Sabrina Ionescu, but just the fact that they had a competition between a WNBA player and an NBA player was really exciting to people. So had they done that idea that was reported on by Shams that was going to be Steph and Sabrina versus Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, Caitlin Clark and Sabrina versus Steph and Klay, I think that would have been a huge success, but she didn't want to do it. And I respect that because ultimately she wants to uplift her league. And I think that their All-Star game is going to be in Indianapolis where she plays. And if she wants to do this big event, maybe she has some leverage now. The first big event is going to be for her league. So you can criticize that decision. I respect it, but I think ultimately, Steph Curry didn't participate in the three-point contest, and it was in San Francisco, and he's the greatest shooter of all time. So I don't think you should get too much criticism because ultimately I think a lot of big names bow out of these things for one reason or another, but certainly she would have really helped. It would have just been something new and exciting that would have intrigued people.
What are you looking for most down the stretch here? I mean, we're excited for a playoff run. Skaz and I are. We've already called the repeat. We worked last year's all the way to the finals. Is it the home games? Is it that final West Coast trip? What are you looking for as the rest of this season finishes up, regular season for the Celtics?
I think there's honestly not a stretch in the schedule that super stands out to me. Obviously, they have their longest road trip of the year in March with 6 road games there. But the main thing I'm looking for is, forget the analytics, forget the stats. These past few weeks heading into the break, just watching them night in, night out, I was thinking to myself, this is the team that won this championship. It's just felt like that same team. Their energy, the way that they all of a sudden put their foot on the gas and kind of kill the other team's dreams. There is this feeling of, okay, that's the championship Celtics. And earlier on the season, especially in December and January, they didn't feel like that team very often, even if they were putting together wins. So my thing is just coming out of the break, you want to pick up where you left off and not make any steps back. And especially when they're healthy, that's where they've struggled. When everybody's been available, it's felt a little clunky at times. So I want to see that Porzingis can be in the offense and Al can come off the bench and still they look like a well-oiled machine. So I guess maybe it's a little bit of a cop-out answer, but just that feeling that we all know as people that have been watching this team for the last few years, when they are just clicking like a machine, it's just nothing you can do about it. And other teams get so demoralized, and they're going to need that confidence going into the playoffs, even though I do think it's going to be a more difficult playoff run. And I guess if I had to pick one game, the Cavs come to Boston next Friday with their new additions of DeAndre Hunter and Javonte Green, who they just signed today. So it'll be interesting to see how they match up against them with a pretty high-stakes regular season game as the standings get solidified.
All right, Noah, we were having some fun earlier tonight. Skaz asked which Celtic would be the best actor if they had to do a movie or a show. We said Luke Cornett. Do you have an answer?
Ooh, definitely Luke Cornett, honestly. He acts every couple of scrums that we do. He literally, I feel like he's just acting. He just does some skits where he's making Hamilton references or something and then I realize, he's literally not answering any of these questions seriously. He's just trolling us. And it goes over my head for half the scrum. So he would be great.
Do you think he's someone that can do you think he wants to do anything else after he feels like a guy that could fill right into maybe a third man on an NBC Sports Boston or some sort of broadcast. Do you think he wants to do any of that?
I've heard that he wants to be a teacher.
Wow.
I believe his wife is a teacher, if I'm not mistaken. And I've heard that's what he wants to do after he's done. But he would be perfect for media. I've heard him do a quarter here and there, I think, of a main Celtics game, but he has the personality for it. Obviously, he knows the game, and I think just Celtics fans love their former players, and so there is definitely, I would be very surprised if he wants it. I'm sure there is some spot for him covering the team in the future.
Everybody loves Luke Cornett. Everyone loves Noah Dalzell. Noah, great job with your coverage on All-Star Weekend. We'll be watching it. I love the WNBA as well. We'll get you back on during this little Celtics run here towards the championship.
Anytime. Thanks so much.
You got it. She's Noah Dalzell. Check out all her work. Does an excellent job. CLNS, Celtics blog. Also covers the WNBA as well. I knew Luke Cornett would be the answer. I didn't even have to think about it, Skaz. I was just with Jaylen Brown though. That one's because he's got the body. I don't know how to explain it. He's got a body, right? Like he could be like like Stephen A's on a soap opera, right?
Yeah, isn't he on like Days of Our Lives?
Whatever it is,
something like that. General Hospital, maybe.
Like how does Stephen A do it?
He's Stephen A. He can do it.
Actually, Stephen A can do whatever he wants.
Do it all. Always.
Always. All right, we'll hit the break. Well, we got a headline here. We got Skaz. It has been. Listen, you saw. We had a dispensary friend here earlier. Kendra has been here. We haven't stopped. We got the music. I don't even know what we're gonna do for music. Let's get the headlines though here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headline.
back here at 98.5 Sports Hub. The musings that will come up shortly, I'll have my Montoya update. You don't want to miss this. I have just watched. Kendra caught me up. By the way, I want to shout two people out tonight. We said it was ladies' night. First, Noah Dalzell, hell of a reporter. She is. We've been watching her. We've had her on now the last 2 years. She is a riser in this business. So I don't know if she's listening or not, but she's awesome at her job. And the NBA, they've reached out to her. She's going to be a rising star. So thanks for her for jumping on. And Kendra, I can't say enough. I've known Kendra for years. When I took the night job, she took over my spot. I guess we traded places, I guess. But Kendra is absolutely outstanding. And this here, Skaz, the food and nonsense and sports takes is like right up her alley. So Kendra, always welcome. And listen, we'd love to have her on more, but in the business, these things get sponsored. So if you're interested, let's talk. We'd love to have Kendra on more on the night show. 617-779-0985. That's the phone number if you'd like to call in. We started off with interest in the Red Sox. We've had medical reports. I just had the guy from Townsend email me, of course, to tell me how much of a jerk I am. But whatever. You know, sometimes you got to know to turn it off. How about that, bro? I went over the defensive numbers. We can do that another night. What else? Ooh, how about this one? We got a couple of minutes here, Skaz. Davante Adams to the Patriots. We first heard it from John Serenides of New England Football Journal on this show. He said the name Davante Adams. The salary cap came out today, and it's going to increase. The highest cap number outside of a quarterback, Davante Adams, $38.5 million. So John brought it up the other night. Tom Curran brought it up, who's tied in. Here's my question. What's the relationship with Josh McDaniels and Davante Adams? He would certainly be a number one wide receiver here in New England. He'd even be a number two if they found an upgrade. They need leadership in the wide receiver room. Skaz brought this up off the air, but DeAndre Hopkins came in for a visit when literally Bill O'Brien traded him, and he said bad things about Bill O'Brien. Signed elsewhere, but still he came in. All I'm going to say is this. Where there's smoke, there's fire. I would be in. Now, do you want better? Do you want more established with upside? Absolutely. But if Davante Adams would be interested in coming to New England, I am in on that one. Anything else, guys?
Yeah, so we did a little digging on this because, Josh McDaniels' relationship with former players that he was the head coach of is, not great in most instances, as is Matt Patricia's with some of his former players. So me and Joe in our Slack channel earlier today, I just typed in Davante Adams and Josh McDaniels to Google. There's one article from NFL.com in which Davante Adams says, "Don't get it confused. It's not a celebration that we have a new coach and changes were made. Obviously, I think it was time, one way or the other, it was time for some sort of change just to bring a little juice in and revitalize the team a little bit." He talked about how the atmosphere in the locker room immediately flipped upon McDaniel's departure, but it also sounds like it was a very professional relationship between Adams and McDaniels. So I'm of the mind that their relationship, like you said, if Hopkins came in when Bill O'Brien was here, Davante Adams could come in for a visit when Josh McDaniels is here. For me, it's, though, how good is Davante Adams still?
What was his numbers last year?
So he was better than I would have thought last year. Over 800 yards and 7 touchdowns. And that's certainly better than what the Patriots had.
Number one in the Patriots.
Absolutely would be number one on the Patriots.
85 catches.
Which is, nothing to sneeze at. That's a pretty big number on a team with a bad offensive line and a hobbled Aaron Rodgers. So diving deep into it, I think I would be more in on Davante Adams to the Patriots than I initially thought. I still don't think it's it's not a top priority for me. I would still try and shore up the lines before I would target Davante Adams. But with the cap space the Patriots have, this is a move they should certainly be looking at. This is the type of guy they should be interested in. A veteran wide receiver, a guy who's been around in the NFL for a long time. They don't really have any veterans in that wide receivers room. So I think getting a guy like Davante Adams for Drake May would be a huge plus. I just don't know if 32-year-old Davante Adams playing in New England is, I don't want to say is it enough, because obviously it's not enough. I just don't know if it's, exactly the perfect fit for Drake May, but it's certainly an improvement.
Agree. Listen, if you had to choose between Hopkins or Adams.
Oh, right now I'm taking Davante Adams. I thought Hopkins did not look good in the playoffs.
Me either. And, we're putting together, like this one, this just got mentioned to me. Remember when people didn't want to come to New England because of Matt Patricia? That happened, remember? Like, people didn't want to go play when he was with the Eagles. Look what happened last year. Is there a relationship issue? That would be something to look at. But hey, listen, we've had two people say this. So again, where there's smoke, there's fire. We got the musings coming up next. I'm Joe Murray here on the Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
And it's Apollo.
It's Baywatch, Joe. It's Baywatch.
Well, listen. Baywatch, Pam Anderson, Hasselhoff, Nicole Egger, like all those, Yasmin Bleeth. Like, I can't even think of them right now. Again, when I think of running on the beach, it's Apollo and it's Rocky.
And Montoya.
And now, so Rocky and Apollo ran east to west, right? Let me just give you the play-by-play. He sees his girlfriend in bed with a guy that he knows, and he's like, no, and like, my life is ruined. And he's yelling it in Spanish, and he's with some other girl. What's he doing with her? Has anybody ever brought that up yet? I know nothing. I'm just giving you my visual play-by-play here.
Instant reaction.
Yes.
This is like post-game of the Celtics or Bruins. We're getting Temptation Island post-game.
Trent's loving this. Our intern. So he's like, no, and like freaking out and like, no. But they're on vacation and they're at like this beach spot. So this is what pops in my head. He finally is like freaking out, like, no. He just starts running the water. So he's going west to east. So he must be in the middle of the beach where the resort is like this thing's like 12 football fields away because Mr. Montoya was sprinting. And he's just screaming the whole way. Like anybody on the beach would have been like, why is this man screaming? Well, the funniest part about it to me was the visual of him running on the beach is sad. But as he's running from far away, there's other couples hanging out. Do you notice that half of them are naked in a hot tub? It's just they all just stand up naked like, what's Montoya doing? That made me laugh, the naked people. But I think, because again, I only got 2 minutes and 9 seconds of it. Did his girl hear him yelling from far away? Was she supposed to stop what she was doing because she heard him? Scats, I don't know what happens next. Can you fill me in? Did he confront them? Were they confronted? I only saw the 2 minutes and 9 seconds. He confronted them?
Joe, I'll be honest with you. I've only seen like the Sports Center top 10 of the Montoya. I have not dove into the episode, so I've only seen the clips. I don't know if they've come face to face yet. I would imagine it's had to have happened.
Ooh, my buddy Fuego Jimmy just said, don't forget about Frank Drebin running on the beach in Naked Gun. That's right. I can't forget about that one either. So you just, again, my play-by-play on it. Here's my take. You're on vacation. I shouldn't even call it vacation. You're at a resort on a great island.
Temptation Island.
You find out the person that you're with is in bed with another man. But you're just sitting there with another woman. Your idea was to panic and run and stop her? I couldn't do that on national television, Skaz. I'm sorry. So, although I feel bad for one, Mr. Montoya, I feel very bad for him. That's a bad look, man. I didn't even read the comments. This thing's been on Barstool? What do you think they're saying?
I believe the Celtics have used Montoya por favor as a caption as well.
Get out of here.
A lot of social media have been doing it.
What is up tonight? I don't know. Michelin stars. I don't know about Montoya. What else didn't I know tonight? Am I out of touch? Losing my mind here. Oh, okay. Him laying on the ground screaming and crying is sad. Oh my God. These are like the saddest memes ever. Someone says it's the damn TV show. It's obviously the host he's talking to. Come on, man. I didn't see a host. Did you? Was that the host? I don't even know if that's I don't know anything. I'm reacting to what I saw. I'm going to repost this because now I know that I've seen these memes now. I've seen these. Well, anyways. Anything bothering you, guys? No, it's bothering me. Okay, we've had multiple storms now, and I'm just calling them storms because they, nothing, we got worse. But this ice buildup, man, I think I had a 3-incher. What I mean by 3 inches is of ice. I was chopping away today.
Thanks for clarifying, Joe.
Thank you. Size matters. These ice blocks. Do you have ice?
Oh, yeah. You got ice.
Shout out to my friend Chris, who's probably listening, but he was walking his dog, slipped on ice, and he broke his leg.
Oh.
And he's listening. No, I mean that as
That's brutal.
Well, I'm bringing it up because I want to make people aware. Don't break your leg like Chris. I feel bad, Chris. He was walking his dog Titan.
You ever taken a tumble, Joe, on the ice?
Dude, you don't want to see the bumble tumble. But I'll tell you, okay, once, yeah. And that actually, you know how, there's some things I'm afraid of. I hate insects and spiders and bees. Like, I don't, Big Joe don't like, spiders and insects and stuff. But one of my biggest fears is falling on ice. If I go down, man, I'm hurting something. And shout out to our man Einbein, one of our most consistent listeners, who has his, probably could tell us about infections and stuff like that. Has had to have a surgery and leg amputation and wears a leg. So I can only imagine what he goes through when it comes to the ice. So as he wrote in chat, I don't need to hear a story about a guy falling while walking the dog. But yes, my friend Chris, I feel bad for him. I don't want to fall on your ice. I understand there's a shortage of ice melt right now. This is what I suggest you do. You get an ice pick like me, and you start chopping, baby. Just start chopping. Because I feel bad. I saw my mailman out there today. Shout out to my mailman. Shout out to all our postal service people. But that ice is no joke. It's 3 inches out there, man. Someone said ask Beetle about falling on ice. Did he fall?
I'm unaware.
I am too.
That I don't know.
We work the night show. I love all the shows. I've worked on Skaz. I think you probably have too. I've worked on every single show at this station.
Absolutely.
Every one of them.
Multiple times.
I support everybody. I try to listen to everybody. But you know what? I don't know what happened this morning on Fred's show. Do you know what happened? We had no internet last night. Was there internet today for the shows? Let me guess. Let me even guess.
There was issues all day, Joe. Issues, but they have been resolved. We're back.
Okay.
Wide Orbit is back. The L Drive
Why
is
did
back.
I know that was something that was going to happen today?
They're working on it last night.
But I don't listen to the other shows to know that. But because, Skaz, when I go to bed,
Joe, you were featured on the morning show today.
I was?
You were.
What happened?
You spoke to a man who was dog sitting. And I believe that call was revisited on the morning show this morning.
Are you serious?
Yes. Do you remember that call?
Yeah, a guy named Joe called in the other night. He was dog sitting while everybody was out on Valentine's Day.
That is correct.
What was so good about the call?
They just enjoyed it, I think. It was just a classic Joe Murray call. Some good, I believe Fred said that's exactly what, night radio should be.
Oh, they were complimenting us.
Absolutely.
Oh, I remember there was a time that I didn't feel like I was getting compliments.
I think the morning show does a good job putting you over, Joe.
I think they do a great job now. The music stopped.
Hard out there. Hard out.
Who was on today?
I believe it was Fred, Dan Roach, and Wallach, I believe.
Wait, this was the dog episode? This was Valentine's Day.
I believe so, yes. I thought they were going to do sauce talk. But it was the man in Maine who was dog sitting a Mastiff.
Yes, but I don't recall why the call was funny. Was it just me talking to somebody who's dog sitting?
That's it, Joe. That's all it takes.
Huh. No, Fred does listen because I in our his birthday message, he listen, I wake up to Fred and he falls asleep to us. Like me and Fred have that special connection, you know? Sometimes I text Fred a little note every once in a while when something happens. I just hug nuggets. But he will certainly finger a sweet and sour sauce. I like to lick it first. Just so we're clear. In the middle of the night last night, I got an email from someone that wanted to show me them eating the Dairy Queen gravy with their chicken fingers. I still have the guy farting the other night that we haven't played. Were you there? I don't know if you know about this one yet. Okay.
Yes, I am aware.
His name is Brian. Sent me a bunch of farts. The show is gaining steam, Skaz. The ratings are very high. People like what we do.
Thought that was a fart reference for a second there, Joe.
Yeah, I leave notes for Hardy all the time, and Fred, people are asking, you should leave little Post-its for him. No, I do, and I leave notes right here.
I've unfortunately had to leave Adam 12 and Ryan a note if something is amiss back here, but luckily that is not off.
On the radio yesterday.
I believe doing a Captain America review.
Do you know what I thought about doing? I've done this with Bird, so I feel like you could be really good at this. Inviting him in before March Madness starts. The Wednesday night before, or before the play-ins. And maybe we just open up the bracket and we have Bird try to bring up what mascot it is.
Bird's bracket. I'm in.
Okay.
Always,
done.
always.
When does that start? We need to get a calendar, out in advance. Someone just wrote, send me a bunch of farts.
Do you think you're the first member of the Sports Hub to receive an email of just a man's fart compilation?
No, I am
you
not.
Don't think so?
No, I'm not. I know I'm not. There was this thing called Far Court.
That's very true, but I didn't know if those were, user submitted. They were usually someone else.
Well, I will say this. They were never submitted to me, but yes, now I am getting
But I'm saying you got it directly from the source. I think that may be a first.
Oh, yes, you're right.
The
source is now is giving it to me. Yes.
You're getting a direct contact.
Yes. Guys, do you like clam chowder?
Yeah, I like clam chowder.
Just wanted to know. I had some today. I almost blew off the musings, but
that's it, Joe? You just wanted to know if I liked it?
Yeah. Well, you have some sort of we all have something we just can't do, right? There's some things you just can't eat, right? There's some things you can't eat, right? Don't you have a
Oh, yeah, I'm lactose intolerant. Yes. I like those foods. I just can't eat them.
Go to our Slack channel from today. What was the first thing I sent you?
Oh, I don't even have to scroll up, Joe, because I know what it is. It was I can't remember the athlete that it was, but it was an athlete who got very sick from eating a salad, I believe.
Nearly died
from a salad.
Dodgers pitcher Dustin May nearly died after eating a salad. This, people.com. Is People a thing? That's a magazine, right? Dodgers pitcher Dustin May had a near-death experience from an unlikely source last summer. A salad. Quote, "It was definitely a life-altering event," the 27-year-old athlete told the Los Angeles Times about the night of July 10th, 2024, when he took a bite of lettuce and felt it catch in his throat. May knew something bad had happened. That evening, May went to the ER where he had emergency surgery to repair a tear in his esophagus. Quote, "It was definitely serious. It's not a very common surgery. It was definitely an emergency. I probably would have made it through the night if I wouldn't have made it through the night if I didn't have it." According to the LA Times, May went to dinner that summer night in Arizona. He was almost done recovering from a couple of surgeries and was set to rejoin the team before the end of the season. After taking one bite of lettuce at dinner, there was a mega painful feeling in the pitcher's throat and stomach for 15 minutes. According to the LA Times, May had unknowingly torn his esophagus tube, but thought he was fine. His wife insisted he go to the ER. While at dinner on Wednesday night, Dustin May experienced a sudden pain in his esophagus and stomach and continued after he returned home. Instead of going back to the pitcher's mound, May went through an emergency surgery that left him a long scar from his chest to his stomach. He also was facing another 6 long month from recovery through that. It gives you a different point of view when things like that can happen, May said. Just seeing how something so non-baseball related can just be like, it can be gone in a second. So I would like to share that I also have an esophageal issue myself. I have something called GERD. It's called gastroesophagus reflux disease. I've had it for years. I am prescribed prescription for it. But maybe that's why I can't eat salads, guys. Maybe the salad affects my esophagus. A man died almost eating salad.
He didn't die, Joe.
He almost did.
He almost did. There's a big difference there. It's a big difference.
He was in the hospital because of salad. Fact or not fact? Do we work in facts or not?
Fact.
Salad. Not out on green things. I love asparagus. I love Brussels sprouts. I love broccoli. I love cream spinach. I love greens. I love all green.
Big fan of smoking them, too.
I love green. I hate lettuce. I can smell it. Whoever brings it in here, I can smell. When Felger's eating it, I can smell it. I smell it on the microphone after he's ate it.
Someone in chat says, Joe, I didn't like lettuce until I was 31. Do you think maybe when you're 50, Joe, you'll like lettuce?
Esophageal issues. That's what I blame it on. I have an esophageal issue. I get endoscopies all the time because of my esophagus. I don't want any lettuce breaking my tube. We're very late, aren't we? Was there any cool birthdays today?
Nikola Jokic, 30 years old today.
Hey, the face of the NBA, guys.
They're certainly the best player in the NBA.
I didn't pull up the birthdays. I'm sorry.
Smokey Robinson, 85.
Ooh, Smokey.
Roger Goodell, 66.
What do you think he's doing tonight? He's laying on a stack of money like in Breaking Bad.
Seal, 62.
Oh, the Super Bowl seal. Jeff Daniels, 70 years old. Likes to poop. Ooh, Benicio del Toro, 58 years old today. Ariel Kebble's 40. Victoria Justice, 33 years old. Millie Bobby Brown is 21.
Chapel Roan's birthday today.
Ooh. That's all I got. Be careful of the salad, everybody. Be careful of salad. JP just goes green teamer. We'll go to break. Oh, we have the headline now. How about we just do this? This hour of the sports has been brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. Who's the face of the NBA? We'll do that next on the Sports Hub.
From the Town Fair Tech Studios, this is your...
That's what if you need to write up tonight, that's what it is, okay? And Montoya. So what'd you talk about in the 9 o'clock hour? Well, but yes, I take a Meprazole for those that ask. I take the 40 dosage because, yes, the condition can be bad. I've had it for probably 25 years, probably. So, make fun of Joe. Hey, now someone almost died from salad. Someone almost died. And he's a professional athlete in shape. So don't give me your fat Joe. Someone in shape almost died because of salad. That's just facts. Just facts. Anyways, who's the next face of the league, guys? Do we have to break? Oh, we do. Hey, the next face of the league in the NBA coming up next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Skaz immediately said Mount Rushmore talk. I asked the people of our chat, and a lot of them said draft talk and the players. I went with trolling everybody about Eli Manning. I think anyone who thinks he's not a Hall of Famer, you're a hater. So I'm interested to see what they say. Gabe has checked in. He wanted me to tell everybody that the honey breast tenders from Tyson, the honey battered breast, are the best ones to buy. There's no added hormones. So please check that out. And Trent, who's our intern, did a great job tonight. He wrote an article about the Revs and their three biggest moves this offseason, which, I didn't hear much about them, so I hope they were really big and impactful. So you can read that at 985thesportshub.com. But Trent has also basically made a graphic today of Joe's thoughts all show. And it's really just Montoya sad. So the musings tonight was about Montoya, 3-inch ice, and someone almost died from eating a salad. That pretty much sums up the last hour, right, Skaz?
I'd say that's accurate, Joe.
Okay. The face of the NBA is coming. But let's talk to Ryan. He's in Fort Lauderdale. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, Joe. How are you?
How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm hanging in. I was listening to the show earlier, you and Kendra, which, by the way, you guys always do a great job together, every time she's on. Yeah, of course. I didn't know what to do for dinner, and I decided to go and get those chicken nuggets from McDonald's, and I didn't know you could get them with the honey. It was game changer for me.
Yeah, Ryan. When was this? Again, I feel tonight that I have been left out and out of the know on some things, but not.
Yeah, same.
I worked at a McDonald's. Damn it. Now, granted, it was like 30 years ago. Yeah, my best friend and I got a job at McDonald's, the one in West Roxbury. It's not open anymore, but we did everything. I did the front first. My buddy did the kitchen, and then I did the kitchen. And then when we used to drink a lot, I'd always find my friend sleeping in the ball pit. And then when he was done napping, I would then go nap in the ball pit.
With a long shift.
Yeah. Hey, man, we could only work on Sundays back then because we played football on Saturdays. Or Friday nights.
Friday nights. I gotcha. But I don't know why I thought only with when you get like hot tea or something when you get the honey pack, because I didn't even know you could
I didn't either. So let's just talk about McDonald's sauces, right? There's barbecue, sweet and sour. There is ranch.
Sweet and sour.
There's a honey mustard.
Mm-hmm. Honey mustard.
I don't know what other else.
Honey.
But when did this honey thing happen?
I have no idea. I have a fun fact, by the way.
Okay.
I was watching on the History Channel. They have this thing where they talk about different food. Fast food places, the kind of history, and like the dipping sauce packets.
Yep.
That you get like McDonald's or Burger King, Wendy's, or wherever you go. I think McDonald's, when they first came out with the McNuggets, they were the first ones to come up and invent the packages so that when you go to the drive-thru, you create less of a mess. Kind of, you could just dip them right in,
like the tear-off sleeve on the top.
Yeah. Those ones, yeah.
You know that they now make now some of the containers that you get them in have a little spot for your little ramekin.
Oh yeah, you mean like an actual like chicken nugget kind of container itself? You can just pop it right in.
It has a hole in it for the sauce.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I just looked it up: honey mustard, sweet and sour, barbecue, ketchup, garlic, chili sauce. Where did that come from?
It was a limited time. I didn't know they had that.
Okay. McDonald's spicy buffalo?
Yeah, I knew the buffalo. I forgot. Yeah.
Honey,
buffalo.
Can you get Big Mac sauce on the side? Can you get that?
I know. I think at one point, like years ago, a few years ago actually, they did like a promotion where you could actually do that. I don't know if they do that now. I have no idea. I don't try and go to McDonald's or fast food places too often. I don't either. Try to watch what I eat. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. But
well, I'm glad you were influenced tonight. What would you rate it from 1 to 10 on the honey?
Honey, I would rate it. I'd still 8.7. It was actually really good.
Wow.
It's game changing. You know what, Joe? What I also did, I didn't mention, is that when I came home, I tried it also with Mike's Hot Honey, and that knocks it to like 9.3.
Dude,
I was like, wow. Hot honey with it. I don't know if you tried it with the hot honey. Oh.
So my favorite pizza is a pepperoni with hot honey on it.
Ooh.
But dude, by the way,
Yeah,
all right,
like
so I don't know what you guys have in Fort Lauderdale, but here there's a chip company called Utz, UTZ, Utz.
Yeah, I know of Utz. I was born in New York, actually. I have family in Sharon.
There you go, Sharon. That's where Alex Barth is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So they make a Mike's Hot Honey Utz barbecue chip.
Really?
It's fantastic.
I had no idea. We don't have that down here, unfortunately.
Yeah. Hey, if you're in Fort Lauderdale, do you ever take a ride to Little Havana with Versailles?
I went once when I was really young with my grandparents, but I have not been back, unfortunately, since.
I'll tell you, you got to go to Versailles. It's in Little Havana. It's
excellent. Okay.
Absolutely excellent. I one time flew to Miami just to eat there once.
Would you? I would do that. I've done that for food. Go to like another state. I've done that all the time.
Thanks, man.
It's the best.
Glad
it's
we
a good road
influenced
travel.
you.
Hey, thanks.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Joe. Appreciate the time. Be well.
All right, buddy. Be well. Be well. When's the last time we got one of those? Be well. All right, let's hear this one. Tom's in Quincy. Hey, Tom.
Hey, what's up, Joe? Listen, I'm here to defend your take because I agree. If you're to let Eli in based on mostly his postseason performances, we also have to let Edelman in because based off his postseason performances, both of them had, mediocre regular season stats. However, Jules was consistent year over year for, 7 years in a row. I mean, I don't even know what Manning's regular season stats average out to, but they weren't that great until he got in the postseason.
He threw for 366 yards and over 50,000 yards. He's very good.
I'm not disputing that he wasn't an above-average quarterback, but what's getting Eli Manning in is the fact that he has those 2 Super Bowls, right? That's what's getting him in.
All right, listen to me. All right, so let's do 2 different things. Let's take Eli out of it. Let's just talk Edelman for a second here. Edelman's career regular season doesn't get him into the Hall of Fame. I think we all agree on that.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Yeah, no way.
But does he have this incredible postseason record that maybe shouldn't go unnoticed? I agree with that. But I don't know if we can compare it to Eli Manning. So here's my take is I'm a huge Wes Welker guy. What I mean by Welker is Welker did more in his time in New England than Edelman did in his career.
Sure, but you got to remember those Patriots teams were Moss and Welker. I mean, everybody else is just a guy.
So should we not?
Edelman was dealing with Gronk, Hernandez, everybody. I mean,
Edelman couldn't even start. I mean, he was a defensive guy at first, and then he moved over. No, I get the story of Edelman is a Hall of Fame legend. I get that. But I just think that before we even talk Edelman, you got to stop at Welker. I think Welker is the first slot receiver ever to be an All-Pro. Ever. Listen, All-Pros are Larry Fitzgerald's, are Randy Moss's, are Justin Jefferson's. And Wes Welker was that. Edelman was never
I'm not saying Welker shouldn't be in either. I'm just saying, you got 2 guys that the majority of what they're remembered for is what they did in the big game, let alone the postseason. And, granted different positions, I think, it's kind of crazy to me. We have all these high-profile receivers who were lights out in the regular season, but did nothing in the postseason, and they're on next shoe. And then again, they did it year over year over year. But at the same time, Edelman didn't do much in any of the regular seasons, but every year in the postseason, when he was on the field, he was the guy. He was the go-to guy. Stats aside, I mean, he had touchdowns in all the Super Bowls. He won the MVP. I just think it's kind of we're hypocrites when we say, oh, this, Eli. The fact that his whole own town, New the media was basically trying to get him out of there before they even won the second Super Bowl against us. So, it's just kind of a funny, hypocritical thing we have where, it's all regular season with a little bit of postseason measured into it. I think postseason needs more influence into the
Just real quick, Tom. I don't disagree that Edelman's body of work in the playoffs is something elite. I don't disagree with that. I just think you also have to include his regular seasons. If we're going to do it to Eli, we got to do it to Edelman.
I agree, and I think they counterbalance it, and that's where I think is like Eli got 2 rings, Edelman got 3, and an MVP, as well as, he threw a pass in a playoff game that could have gone either way. Let's just be honest, that Baltimore team had our number for a couple years. We should have lost the game where Billy Cundiff missed the kick, right? So, if it wasn't for Edelman, we might not win that game, let alone win that Super Bowl, right? So there's just...
Thanks, Tom. I had to let you go. Skaz, you weren't having it.
I didn't expect a Billy Cundiff reference on the show tonight, Joe.
You hooked it.
He did hook it. He certainly hooked it.
By the way, Edelman 166th all-time in yards, regular season. Postseason, probably 1. I don't know.
I think he's second in almost every category behind Jerry Rice.
It's an uncanny, unbelievable postseason. Listen, I'm going to cross sports. You ready for this one? I think Kurt Schilling had a immaculate postseason record and has over 200 wins for his career. Something that's going to be hard to do. He's not going in. I just want to be real with everybody. If you're going to bring up Eli Manning's regular seasons, which he's 11th all-time in touchdowns, 11th all-time. How many quarterbacks have played the game of football? How many? Just throw out a number. 1,000?
700, Joe.
He's 11th all-time in touchdowns. He's thrown for 366 touchdowns. Oh, God, I'm doing this again. No. This is the cul-de-sac. You want to talk about the cul-de-sac? This is the cul-de-sac. Bus in Natick. Hey, Bus.
Joe, what's up? You got my mind racing right now talking about sauces and things of that nature. Throwback on McDonald's. Not really throwback, but I think a year or two they did the Szechuan sauce.
Szechuan, yep.
That was decent. That was kind of overhyped crazy. Packets were going for nuts on eBay. Another sauce, I don't know if you've been to Puritan in Manchester, New Hampshire, Puritan House. They dip the tender in a duck sauce. I was very skeptical at first, but it slaps. It's great. Excellent. Speaking of sauces also, I spoke to you a while ago about Wayland Deli and Variety.
I know it.
They got the Siberian train wreck there. Yeah. They use a house mayo. Beautiful house mayo.
House mayo, huh?
Yeah. Oh, my God. More places need to start doing it. It's like mayo mustard combo with a little bit of dash of, I don't even know what, but it's got a tang to it.
Do you live in Natick?
Yes, I'm from Natick. Unfortunately, not living in Natick currently, but Natick through and through.
Just wanted to ask about Casey's and how it was going.
Casey's, maybe a couple of years ago, they upped their menu a bit. They were always just dogs and burgers, soda chips. They brought in baked beans, French fries.
Beans?
I think they do fraps and stuff too now. I believe so. Someone could correct me if I'm wrong, but they definitely upped their menu.
They have maybe, in my opinion, maybe one of the best hot dogs of all time.
No, absolutely. You get the all-around, which is mustard, relish, onion. You got to throw the celery salt on it. It just gives it that extra, right in the...
I'm sorry, the what?
Salivate thinking about it.
I'm sorry, what
gives
was...
it that... It just makes me want to, it just makes my mouth so happy when I snap into that Casey's hot dog.
Thank you, Buzz.
But,
he got his mind going there.
You can't be one to throw stones at a man that's making noises with his mouth.
I'm not throwing. Did I say I throw stones?
It just seemed like you were a little, maybe put off by that.
No. I was actually.
You were intrigued?
I was intrigued by it. What did he do? A little.
I'm not quite sure. Sound like a hamster maybe, or like a guinea pig.
Sometimes I might go, you got to go a little in there. I've done that before. Man.
And Joe, I just like to say I did some research. I said 700 quarterbacks in NFL history. 721 quarterbacks have played in the NFL.
And Eli Manning is 11th in touchdowns.
That is correct.
But people want to say of the 749th, he does not belong. That's what people are telling us, right? I don't want to cross sports, but like, if anyone has a legit beef of not being in the Hall of Fame, it's Kurt Schilling. But here's the deal. Kurt said he didn't want to go, so no one's going to vote for him anymore. I've also been told that Roger Clemens, you would argue that Clemens had a Hall of Fame career before he left the Red Sox. And I agree with that. All right, one more. And then we got to do the face of the NBA. Where's Jake?
You got those odds?
Johnson, let me make sure I say it right. Situate.
There you go, Joe. How's it going, guys?
How you doing?
Hey, so pretty good. I got a thing on sauces. So I got a special for you first at McDonald's. You've got to try it sometime. My buddy told me this back in the day, and it's honestly my go-to. You get a McChicken at McDonald's, hold the lettuce, hold the mayo, and just put a slice of cheese on there. They put the slice on for you. A tiny bit of buffalo sauce in the middle. It's freaking proper, man.
Did he swear?
No swear.
Oh, I thought I heard a quick hook.
It was close.
Wait, so let me just. I was distracted. Chicken, cheese. That's what he said. I actually. No, Trent, nothing. Damn.
There's only so many sauce calls I can give my undivided attention to, Joe.
Joe, Manchester is my hometown. The Puritan chicken tender sandwich sauce is dynamite. Also, it's Adam Sandler's favorite spot. He's from Manchester, New Hampshire, Central Gret. Thank you, everybody. McChicken, no lettuce, cheese, buffalo sauce is what he said. Thank you, David. I'd do that. Do you know what I'd rather do? I'd rather put the sauce on my chicken than dip the chicken in the sauce.
I thought you were going to say, you know what I'd rather do?
I am a dipper.
Talk about who's the face of the NBA.
Face of the NBA next here on the Sports Hub.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented.
why do you think he's just kind of dismissed as it?
It's hard to put your finger on it.
Me too. I just know that he's.
And I like him a lot.
I feel like with Tatum, there's no flair to his game. Obviously he has a tremendous package. He has a great game, but there's nothing that you watch Jason Tatum and you get excited. When you look at faces of the league, you're gonna have kids saying, "I want to be that guy. I want to be that guy." And I just don't see kids saying that about Jason Tatum.
I think Jason Tatum will be the face of the league because he's good. And when Noah Dalzell tonight, I asked her this question. She goes, "I think it's the people who repeatedly get to the finals," and I agree. So I thought that was a great answer. Let it happen. Let it develop. And Skaz, we've been talking about this now for 2 weeks. I'm being consistent on it. If Tatum and Brown are on your team, good things will happen. And you know what? In a way, I hope Tatum and Brown are the faces of the league, the duo. Hey, listen, Michael Jordan may have been the best player of all time, but we always consider Pippen. Not trying to go back on the 90s on you, but that's my take. Oh, he needs to be aggressive and be more of this. Just be Jason Tatum. That's all I care about. Anything else to add on that?
Yeah, he was plenty aggressive when he set the playoff record for points scored in a Game 7, when he dropped 46 in Milwaukee, when he had 30, 11, and 8 in a Game 5 closeout of the NBA championship. I think he was plenty aggressive in all those. And the main talking point of that segment was kids. The next generation does not want to be Jason Tatum. They don't look up to Jason Tatum. To that, I would say, look at jersey sales. Look at who's on the cover of NBA 2K. Chips.
Sorry for talking food.
Who's the leader for Rookie of the Year right now, Joe?
Who is it?
It is Stephen Castle.
Oh, it's Stephen Castle.
Stephen Castle on the San Antonio Spurs. You know who his favorite player is, who he emulates his game after?
Jason Tatum.
You know what shoe he wears?
Jason Tatum.
Who is supposed to be the number 1 pick in the upcoming draft, Joe?
Cooper Flagg.
You know who Cooper Flagg's favorite player is, who he emulates his game after?
Jason Tatum.
I'd say the next generation is more indicative of who the face of the NBA is than Greg Jennings, Chris Broussard, and Nick Wright. But, Joe, that's just my opinion.
You imagine being influential, Skaz? Isn't that what makes you the game? That you've influenced everyone else? One day we'll do who killed the NBA, LeBron or Steph. That's another day. But as far as today's game in the future, it's Tatum and Brown, no doubt about it. All right, hey, we got Celtics basketball tomorrow night. I want to thank Trent, our intern. Great job tonight. Wrote his first article, 985thesportshub.com. Go check that out. Skaz, excellent job tonight. We got to get out of here. Thank you to everybody in the chat tonight. Make sure not to eat lettuce before bed. Watch Montoya if you can. And be careful of the ice outside. It's 3 inches, sometimes even more. Thank you to everybody in the chat tonight. We'll do sports tomorrow. There's basketball. Thanks for hanging out. I'm Joe Murray. Talk to you tomorrow night at 6 o'clock.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance.